You should ask. We're 100% employee owned. Everyone here has a stake in making your home projects affordable and stress-free.
So I'm getting expert advice, unbeatable prices, and I'm supporting employees who actually care?
Exactly. Why shop anywhere else? Home Outlet. Kitchens, baths, floors, and more at the guaranteed lowest price. Visit us at homeoutlet.com today.
When it comes to mixing drugs, you may think you have a safe approach, but the bottom line is, mixing drugs is never safe. It can cause serious health problems like a heart attack or brain damage. Learn more at cdc.gov/stop-overdose.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Okay, we got multiple penalties here. Jankowski's got a 2 for cross-checking, a 2 for roughing, 10-minute misconduct. Josh got a 5 minutes for fighting and a 10-minute misconduct. Duan's got a 5 minutes for fighting and a 10-minute misconduct. And Dow's got a 2-minute roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. It's going to be 2-minute power play. Washington.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hi, everyone. It's The Adam Gold Show. I'm not going to say his name right, but Frederic Lecourier, something like that. I apologize. That guy's actually a Raleigh resident. He was one of last night's 2 officials who was busy. Did they realize that every time they did something like that it was just pushing the start of the podcast back an additional, 5 minutes? We had to sort through all sorts of misconducts and pick people up off the ice, and gosh.
Put them down.
Unbelievable. Oh, man, are the Washington Capitals mad. Big mad last night. Anyway, hi, everyone. It's the Adam Gold Show. You can watch this show on YouTube, youtube.com/Adam Gold Show or /999 The Fan. Victoria is here.
I'm back.
You are. You were not gone very long.
No.
You got your hair did.
Mm-hmm.
You went to the dentist.
Yep.
Did all of that. All of that. You had to drive
my tour of North Carolina.
100 miles to get all that stuff done.
I wish it was only 100 miles.
What is it exactly to where you were going?
Well, it took me about just over 2 hours to get to the first place.
Okay.
So it's over 100 miles, just that one way. So, yeah.
Wow.
Then it's like 30 or so to go to the
dentist.
To the
next place.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what?
But it's at least getting me closer to home, each time. So,
very nice.
It's fine.
Well, I'm glad. It appears to have worked out in your favor.
Yeah, it was fine.
So that's all that really matters.
Knock on wood, it all turned out good. That's all we can hope for.
So, yeah, last night was wild, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to spend some time with some friends who are in San Antonio already. Luke DeCock of the News and Observer is going to join us first, and then a little bit later on, Seth Greenberg from ESPN. They are both on the ground in San Antonio. I read a great piece from Brenden Marks in The Athletic today about the relationship with John Shire and Cooper Flagg and really where it began. It was good, just insightful piece. Brenden writes great stuff, and I think it probably shows as much about Shire as it does about Flagg, and why I think John will continue to be super, super successful as we move forward. It is, who knows what's going to happen here. I could tell you, I think Duke's going to win the national championship. Doesn't matter what I think.
Hope so.
Any one of these 4 teams can win. They're all great teams.
Mm-hmm.
Duke is a 5.5-point favorite over Houston. I think Florida is a slight favorite over Auburn. I think 2.5 points.
Okay.
So we're talking about really 2 games that anything could happen in any one of them. My guess is that Duke might be a very slight favorite over Florida if that is ultimately the matchup. And I think the overwhelming majority of brackets have those 2 teams meeting in the national championship game. That's what I had. I had Duke playing Florida for the national title, but we're not that far away from it. I mean, Saturday. Today's Thursday, right?
Yeah, it's almost here.
So, 48 plus Duke's game's not going to start till roughly 8:30, between 8:30 and 9.
I was going to say, isn't it that weird time, 8:49 p.m.?
Yeah, because they
It's very specific.
who wants to explain any of that? Yeah. 30 minutes between games. So whenever the first game is over, first game is scheduled to be around 6 o'clock, which means that the second game won't start for at least 3 hours, I think, after the first game. Who knows? We could have overtimes as well. All right, lots of stuff to do. The timing of the first hour is going to be a little jumbled because we're trying to squeeze in things around appointment time for our two friends.
Yes.
So let's get going. All right, and let's begin with, that was completely different last night. Something that we are not used to. By the way, a lot of media on hand. I understand why.
Yeah.
None of it here to see Carolina. That's okay.
Or the boxing match.
Well, they were not there to see it, but everybody was entertained. And that was entertaining.
Woo.
We had very few actual fights, right? There were 3 fighting majors doled out to each side, but yeah, we didn't have a lot of fighting going on. There was one potentially dangerous situation that we will get to, but something that was different. It could be that the Hurricanes scoring 3 power play goals
I know.
was different. Here's Rod Brindamore on special teams.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was the difference in the game, right? At the start, for sure, we got a couple quick ones on the power play, and I thought we did a good job on the kills. And 5-on-3 that's a tough ask. But yeah, that was probably the difference in the game.
Yeah, I think it probably was. You scored 3 power play goals. Washington got 1. Final score was 5-1. Here's Jarvis, who scored 1 of Carolina's 3 power play goals.
I told you before, the power play's kind of hard right now, so we're starting to figure it out a little bit more. I think we've all been kind of in the same spots now for a little while, so we're all getting comfortable with each other, knowing when to give outs, and it's nice to see we're scoring in different ways on the power play.
They are. We had 1 rebound. That was the first one. A pass for a one-timer on the second one. And then Jackson Blake's second power play goal. Face-off win by Jarvis. Blake collects the puck, treats a defender like a traffic cone, and then goes forehand, backhand, upstairs. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous goal. It could also be, this is the back to the something very different last night, could also be that, once again, Carolina not only won, but decisively won the goaltending battle. Frederick Anderson, again, absolutely great for his head coach.
He was really good. There was a couple, they got in alone a couple times and made, good saves at the right time. I think that to me is what it's all about, right? Like if they get the first one or they get one to tie it up, it's just a different feel. And he was solid early, and that's what you have to have.
Freddie made about 7 or 8 just awesome saves. Now, at some point, Carolina was ahead 3-0 or 4-0 when Freddie was making saves.
Like in the first.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Washington had the first great scoring chance, and Freddie stopped. 30-goal scorer, Alexi Protas right in front. Freddie stopped. Carolina went down and scored after that. And then, then they got the 2 power play goals and went up 3-0. So whether or not it becomes easier or not, I'm not even getting into that. You can argue whatever, both sides, I think, effectively. But Anderson made tons of great saves. So, by the way, in his last 7 games, all wins, .942 save percentage, and he's allowed just 10 goals. I mean, that's pretty good. And right now, and I don't see any reason why it would change. I really don't. Barring injury, I will be absolutely stunned if Anderson is not the Game 1 playoff starter. I'll be stunned.
For sure.
If it's not him. I hope Rod will use both goalies in the postseason. Unless Kochetkov is playing like he is playing right now, I don't think that'll continue, by the way. I think Rod will use both in some capacity. All right. Here's another thing that we could be talking about when we say, man, that was completely different. 142 combined penalty minutes. 142.
A few.
74 for the Caps, 68 for the Hurricanes. And in a strange twist, none of them went to Andrei Svechnikov.
Right.
I did my own rim shot there, people. By the way, Svechnikov did leave the game with an injury. Hopefully he'll be okay. I'm being serious about it. Upper body injury. I think Rod even said last night it wasn't related to the most recent upper body injury. I'm not like doubting him. I don't know what the deal is. So hopefully he'll be okay. Carolina plays tomorrow night in Detroit. Then they play Saturday in Boston, Tuesday in Buffalo, Thursday in Washington.
Round 2.
Oh, boy. So each team was awarded, I'll just use that term, 4 10-minute misconducts. It was a sea of third-period skirmishes. If you go to my Twitter timeline, @AGoldFan, I took a screenshot of my computer. On NHL.com, they flash the rink with the players who are on the rink in there with their number in a circle for each player. And at one point, Washington had it seemed 36 players in the penalty box.
Yes.
Now, some of those players were actually in the locker room because they were off for misconducts and they were done for the game. So when a player can't actually serve his penalty because he's in the dressing room, they put somebody else in the penalty box. Washington at one point had 7 players on the bench. That's it. 7 players on the bench. They had 4 guys on the ice because it was a 4-on-4 situation, and 7 players on the bench. You have 18 skaters in the game.
Yeah.
It was just remarkable. The benches, there was a lot of leg room.
It's a lot of ice time.
Guys were laying down on the bench. Oh, by the way, and Rod Brindamore, and I want to get to a couple more things here. Rod Brindamore, once that whole thing happened, 3 Hurricanes never stepped on the ice again. Jacob Slavin, Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis. You guys done for the night. Sit right here next to me.
Get warm.
Yeah. They first of all, some of those players might be nursing something. Right? You don't want, when the game has devolved into that sort of a gong show, you don't want to put your best players in harm's way. But also, whether they were hurt or not, you don't want to send those guys out in this situation, because it was pretty clear, and we're going to run out of time here before I get to the rest of this, and that's on me. It was pretty clear that Washington had stopped caring about the game. By the way, Ovechkin did score at the end of the second period, number 892. I thought it was cool that the Lenovo Center crowd gave him, it wasn't loud ovation. There were a number of Caps fans in the building, by the way, but I think there was respect paid to what Ovechkin has done over the course of his career. So Seth Jarvis picked up a roughing penalty on a play after Tom Wilson tried to goad Sebastian Aho into a fight.
Really tried.
He tried.
Big time.
Big time, right? So he tried to get Aho to fight. Aho wasn't having it. Jarvis then got into a roughing situation. I think it was Ryan Strome. The 6'4", 225-pound Wilson would eventually find a taker to fight. And he picked somebody's child.
Yes.
Logan Stankoven, who can fit in Tom Wilson's footlocker.
Yeah.
Right, his pocket. Better, his pocket. Much better. I should have workshopped this with you beforehand. And that was the matchup?
Right.
Here's Stankoven.
Yeah, I think we just stick together, and I think it's a really tight group in here, and They've been really welcoming to me, since I've been traded here, and I think, just a situation where, if I need to stand up for a guy, then, I'll go in there and stand my ground.
I love it.
I mean, look, I don't think Tom Wilson is a great fighter.
No,
he's
a bully.
Agitator.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a great. Still, that just struck me as so funny.
Oh, man.
Here's Jarvis on whether or not he enjoyed the extracurriculars.
I mean, that's hockey. It's fun. It's competitive. I mean, at some point you just kind of want to go home, but I mean, everyone's sticking up for each other, and I'm really, really, really proud of the guys in here and how we handled that, and not taking any stuff from it.
Appreciate Seth self-editing.
Yeah.
And that's right there is why Rod Brindamore said, "You're not playing anymore, dude.
Nope.
It's just not going on the ice." Rod tried to give Seth a 10-minute misconduct.
For a second, I thought Rod was going to jump out there after getting...
We might have needed him and Tim Gleason and Jeff Daniels at some point. All right, we're going to break here. Later on, you'll hear from Spencer Carberry, Washington's head coach. Washington believes that Carolina was taking too many liberties with them. Yeah, that's what they believe. All right, when we come back, Luke DeCock will join us from San Antonio. The Blue Devils and the Houston Cougars will go in Game 2 of the Final Four on Saturday. We'll check in with Luke on that, a little bit about the Hurricanes, all of that next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but that doesn't mean me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL draft approaches, insight on free agents and prospects, plus all the insider info on who the Panthers want to pick at number 8. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Have you heard? Kohl's has 2 exclusive new home brands, Miriana and Mingle & Co. From luxe favorites that are all about turning your space into a sanctuary to fun mix and match dining essentials, there's so much to discover. And trust me, you're gonna love everything. Plus, you can get an extra 20% off throughout the store during our Friends and Family sale. So hurry to Kohl's today and bring it all home for less. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offer ends April 6th. See store or Kohls.com for details.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring. The perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help.
Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victorious here. Luke DeCock is in San Antonio. The News and Observer has dispatched him to cover possibly Duke's 6th national championship. That will come up in conversation. But, Luke, you were missed at the fights last night at Lenovo Center. Michael Buffer came out. They rolled the Evander Holyfield video at one point because we had a whole bunch of misconducts, and I believe Todd Reardon is once again coaching the Capitals, complaining about the way the Hurricanes played.
Out there causing trouble again. 7 years later, whatever it is. No, I mean, it's just, everyone wants to set a tone because, the way the bracket works out, they play in the second round and all that. But, that's, to me, that's not the galaxy brain. I mean, I have all of my chips, every single thing on a second round. The Hurricanes get past the Devils. Second round, Hurricanes Habs series. And for anyone who's been around long enough to remember what those are like, everything goes to 11. Every hit, every penalty, every incident, there's some sort of made-up controversy every 30 seconds. Most people, the only thing they know about Montreal is that there would be rumors about the Hurricanes moving every time the Canadians showed up in town for 10 years. But the reality is there's no better place to be in the playoffs because it's so intense.
Yeah.
And it's so – anyway, so as far Caps and Canes can go and, Capitals, Tom Wilson can go pick a fight with a 5'7" guy all he wants, but it's going to be moot when the Canadians upset the Great Eight in the first round.
Yeah, I do wonder how much of this season I think they've put kind of put it behind them in terms of the Ovechkin chase. I think it's a really good team, but at some point the really good team from the regular season, and the Hurricanes have had to deal with this, although they have advanced in every playoff since Rod Brindamore has been here. Sometimes that magic just kind of goes away when you get to the playoffs. I have no idea what's going to happen in the postseason. I do think this Washington team is good. They've been very good. They're very big, but they did not intimidate Carolina last night, and I think they tried to bully the Hurricanes, and it didn't work.
Yeah, they're suspect, but, you got to give them credit for what they've done in the games they've won and then turn around and see if they can do it in the playoffs. I mean, obviously that they were embarrassed last year, so they should have learned from that theoretically. But, I think, the bigger arc for me from last night, the bigger point to make last night is what a world we're living in 2025 where the Hurricanes clinching a playoff spot it's not even a blip on the radar. It's not even news. Right. It's just like, oh, yeah, that happened. Like, I remember in 2019 when they got back in, I was in Colombia with Zion and, my phone's blowing up and all that kind of, it's just such a different standard now. It's just the expectations are completely different, and they should be for this team because it's a good team. And it's been built over a period of years and changed and tweaked. And, I think what we've seen since the trade deadline, two things. One, they got the guy they really needed, and that was Marko Jankkinen, who's the power forward they always needed.
Yeah.
And a hell of a lot better than that Finnish lemon they tried to get. And number two is when your goalies play well, anything is possible. Yeah. And, the goaltending has been, for the most part, over the last month, pretty above average to good. And when that happens, it gives you a chance to win a lot of games, and they have. So, the guys they got at the trade deadline, they may not have been the big name that they wanted, but I think maybe they got the players they needed.
Yeah, they get the players that fit. And I joked about a week or so ago that we're not giving Eric Tulsky enough credit for sneaking in Taylor Hall under the auspices of it being a Mikko Rantanen acquisition. That was just the vehicle through which to acquire 2 more first-round picks. The guy they really wanted was Taylor Hall, who has seemed to fix the power play, because the power play now has 7 goals in its last 5 games. Also, and I want to get to Duke and Houston in our allotted time, Luke DeCock of the News and Observer. But the truth of the matter is that for some time now, Jackson Blake's been one of their best players, and he continues to get better, and now there's some production attached to it, because there really wasn't a lot of production for 2 months, but he has been playing well, and now he's getting rewarded.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When you look at the big picture, obviously you need your first-round picks to play like first-round picks, and you need to hit on some guys in the second, third, and fourth round who turn out to be first-round caliber players. But you also got to win on some you didn't think you were going to win on. You go back to the 02-06 Hurricanes teams. They had a bunch of 4th, 5th, 6th-round guys who became absolute core players. So you need those too. You need the Jackson Blakes. And obviously their drafting philosophy is different now than it was then. But, we're going to take a bunch of smaller, high-skill guys and hope a couple pan out. And certainly with Jackson Blake, one did. The other guy he's bigger. They drafted the 5'9" defenseman, Joel Nystrom, who's gonna be here shortly. He's over 6 feet now. So sometimes you just get lucky. You draft a skilled little guy and he grows. Other times you draft a skilled little guy like Jackson Blake and it turns out, hey, he can do this. He fits. And you put him with the right players and he can finish chances. So, they've had a lot of things go wrong this year. We don't need to enumerate all of them. But, look, they've gotten some breaks too. And you need to be in this thing, and they have.
Luke DeCock of the News and Observer is joining us here. The only pushback I will say, I think it is a big deal that they have made. Not that they made the playoffs. We're not celebrating that they made the playoffs. I do think that for the 7th straight year, not only to make the playoffs for 7 straight years, but in the last 5, basically to qualify with honors. Right now, they're the 5th best team in the league based on points, and that is the lowest in the last 5 years. It's been 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, and now 5th over the last 5 years. So they're not just squeaking in, they're getting in early, and I don't think enough has been made of that because it ain't easy to make the playoffs. Boston isn't going to make the playoffs. The Rangers are at best, say 40% to make the playoffs with their roster and their goaltending. So it is not easy to make it. I don't think enough has been made about how hard it generally is. Let me get to the Blue Devils who are with you. They followed you to San Antonio, Luke. How much does this team remind you of the 01 team because I think the mindset for me is the same as that 01 team, is that they are cutthroat. They are like killers when they think that they've got you.
Yeah, I don't know. You can make that argument. To me, this team is kind of sui generis in that it's sort of something of itself that is a team that could only have been created in this era. I don't know that it bears comparisons that well to other teams because it's a different kind of roster. It's a different kind of makeup. These are different kind of kids. But that said, I don't think we can say enough about, the hard truths that came up last spring where a guy like Tyrese Proctor is going to stay and Jeremy Roach and Mark Mitchell are out and bringing in the transfers. Deion James was not a guy a lot of teams were falling over themselves to add.
Yeah.
But you spot the guys who can help you, and you bring in a guy like Mason Gillis who's just cold. And even when he doesn't play, he has that intimidation on the bench. And then a guy like Malik Brown who just wanted to be on a winner. And that's what he thought he was going to get at Syracuse and didn't. And is a winner, is a guy who does a lot of different little things to help you win. So to me, it's hard to draw comparisons to past teams because the star power is so young and the leadership is so old, and not a lot of it has grown up within the program other than Proctor. But all that being said, it's an incredible mix, and the couple things that have really distinguished it are getting better over the course of the season, tweaking the rotation, and then having guys who haven't played a lot come in and be able to contribute when needed. So you saw that. We've seen that with Patrick Ngamba down the stretch here. Isaiah Evans has had some good and bad minutes, but his good minutes have been really good. And this was a guy who was, in the where are they now file for a good chunk of the season. Everyone's like, well, he's transferring, blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe not. He's proven that he can be a useful sort of 2-3 on this team. He can defend. He can score. He's just got to do it with more consistency. So, there's been some sort of cameos and adjustments and things like that have distinguished this team maybe from other teams that had a veteran core, battle-hardened, receipts, scores to settle. To me, this is a team that's a little more of a melting pot of different talents and experience and things like that. That has enabled Duke to sort of adapt and get better over the course of the season.
Yeah, Mike Krzyzewski always liked to say everybody runs their own race, and there are a whole lot of different races being run with these guys.
It's their moment, Adam. It's their moment. I'm just happy to be there with them in their moment.
Do you think I'm going to I'm giving you a question. If you want to ask it to John Shire at some point, that's fine. But at some point after this is all over, I'm going to talk to John. And I'm going to ask him if he thinks as a coach or if he thinks as a player, because he's not that far removed from playing. He played. I think his last year was 2014. That's not that long ago. I'm just curious how he thinks the game. Does he think it as a coach or a player? Because I don't know. It just struck me as I was watching them in the press conference after winning the East Regional in Newark. And he's up on the dais, and he's got the T-shirt on and the hat on backwards, and I could have sworn he was a player. It just struck me. I'm curious how he thinks about it.
I mean, he's very much a coach, and he's had, really since Krzyzewski announced he was stepping down, and John had sort of his 1-year internship. He's had a lot of time to think about it and make that transition. His leadership this year has been as a coach. Now, does he relate to the players a little bit better? Maybe because he's, younger and a younger guy, possibly, but I think when you look at everything he's done, the way they've navigated the midseason loss of Jay Lucas, which they never saw coming, all of that, I think you have to look at it and say, no, this is a guy who's a coach, that he's grown into the role. I mean, you go back to the Virginia game in his first year, the word around the league was he wasn't tough enough to stand up for his guys. He was soft, and he changed that. That was sort of I wouldn't say the word around the league. That was a criticism.
Right.
He's too nice. He's too nice. Well, he changed that. And over the last 3 years, he's gotten tougher and more calculated and made harder decisions. That's all part of his evolution as a coach. And I think he's probably a far better coach in year 3 than anyone thought he would be. Chris Carroll's telling us in Charlotte, I knew he was going to be good. I didn't know he'd be this good this soon, and I certainly didn't think it was going to be at Duke. But he's really stepped into, arguably one of the most difficult jobs anyone could have, which is following Mike Krzyzewski as a former player and trying to do things your own way, not just saying we're going to do it the way the old man did it, but saying this is my program. There are changes I want to make. We're going to have a general manager. We're going to embrace John Shire, you go back 10 years on K's staff, was always the one who most embraced the concept of analytics. He was always the most forward-thinking of any of those guys once he got into coaching. I mean, he was on Jordan Sperber's podcast, and before COVID. Like, this is a guy who was very, very in touch with sort of that aspect of the game, the stuff that, everyone's talking about Florida doing now. So he's always been his own sort of coach, and we've seen that from him at Duke over the last couple of years. But I do think the evolution this year, as I wrote about after they won in Newark, the decisions they made after Dallas, the way they built around Cooper Flagg, the guys that I just think it's all very deliberate and calculated. And I think you can really see the structure of that plan both then and now, and that's a sign to me of good leadership.
Luke DeCock, great leadership. News and Observer at Luke DeCock on Blue Sky. I thank you very much for being on Blue Sky with me. There's not a lot of us posting stuff out there. We got to get more of us out there. Enjoy San Antonio. For my money, the best Final Four city that there is. They should just keep it there. Maybe alternate between San Antonio and Indianapolis. I'd be good with that.
Good. All right, I got to run, Adam.
Take care, Luke DeCock. Yeah, I told you we had a window. We had a window to get it all in. Our next window will involve Seth Greenberg from ESPN, and we'll get into Duke versus Houston, a little bit of Auburn versus Florida, and maybe, if we have time, torpedo bats. Seth Greenberg definitely would have an opinion on torpedo bats.
Oh, does he have a team specific?
Oh, he's a Yankees fan.
Oh, okay.
It's a big time Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
Fan. Yeah. I can't cure
him.
I can't cure him of that.
We know his opinion then.
So no, I'm okay with torpedo bats.
Yeah, no,
it is what it is.
If it works and it's legal,
everybody can use it. Yeah, it is a conforming bat. So we can't. Whether it will always be conforming is another matter. But right now, there's no reason why any team can't use one. And look, whether it helped Ellie De La Cruz or not, maybe he believed it helped Ellie De La Cruz when he hit 2 home runs and drove in 7 when he picked it up. I don't know. Maybe it's just a coincidence, and I'm allowing for that. Seth Greenberg from ESPN in San Antonio next.
From the heels,
touchdown, Carolina,
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book and the very best place to bet on sports because we have a loaded sports calendar coming up. We're less than a week away from that tournament in Georgia, the NCAA tournament. And we've got Major League Baseball in full swing. So whether you're into any of these sports or others, Dinger Tuesdays, Hump Day parlays, golf profit boost tokens are there galore for you. So, new customers, $5 bet gets you $200 in bonus bets. FanDuel.com/AGS. Make every moment more. FanDuel.com/AGS. Have a good time. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
This April, join North Carolina Realtors in celebrating Fair Housing Month. Fair housing means everyone deserves a place to call home, regardless of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, or disability. NC Realtors are committed to fair housing for all North Carolinians and ensuring that everyone has access to safe and affordable housing. Let's work together to create communities where everyone can thrive. Visit ncrealtors.org to learn more about fair housing. Paid for by NC Realtors.
It's okay not to be okay. Feelings of loneliness, anger, and worry are completely normal, and you're not alone. If you need help coping, call, text, or chat the free 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Someone is always there to talk, day or night. Together, we will find the care that works for you. Just call, text, or chat 988 anytime to talk to a trained counselor who will listen, provide support, and connect you to other resources that can help. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Going to college gives you more career options. You could say it pays for itself, but it might not feel that way in the short term, especially when tuitions do. That's where the FAFSA comes in. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. It's your gateway to money for college. Whether you're seeking scholarships, grants, work-study programs, or loans, it all starts with the FAFSA. So how about it? Make a plan for college and find everything you need for the FAFSA at cfnc.org.
For 70 years, PBS North Carolina has been a part of your life, teaching, inspiring, and entertaining you.
From learning French cooking with Julia to uncovering history with Henry Louis Gates Jr., we've shared countless memories. Together, we've celebrated every moment, and it's all thanks to you, the people of North Carolina. Your support has made it possible for us to keep bringing you the best programming on TV and beyond. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
This is Adam Gold.
But whenever you say, well, we're not using this as an excuse. No, you are. Whether it's justifiable or not can be a different discussion. But you are.
It's like the equivalent of saying no offense, but ...
Offense coming.
Yeah, get ready for it.
Look out. Here we come with some offense for you.
The Adam Gold Show.
See Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. All chalk in the Final Four. Last time that happened was 2008. It was also San Antonio. And the man who arrived on the scene like a torpedo bat, ESPN's own Seth Greenberg, who joins us. How are you, sir?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Have you already gone out and bought a torpedo bat?
No, not because they're not going to be around long for it, I hear.
No, really? Oh no, seriously. Are you breaking news? Are we getting rid of the torpedo bat?
No. I am definitely not breaking news.
Okay.
I am not a newsbreaker. We know better than that. We know better. I stay very much in my lane.
I would hope they wouldn't ban the torpedo bat. Just give them to everybody. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, Judge is so good he don't even need no stinking torpedo bat.
Oh, he's not using one?
No, he's not using one.
Oh my gosh! I think the Yankees have 5 guys using torpedo. Like whatever. If the bat conforms, the bat conforms. I would say just get one. That's what Ellie De La Cruz likes it. He hit 2 homers and drove in 7 the first day he used it. All right, let's talk about Duke and Houston. This will be the most physical brand of defense that Duke has faced all year. Are they equipped to handle that?
Yeah, they're equipped to handle it because Houston's probably going to play against the best defense they played against all year.
True.
Yeah, like you talk about 2 elite defenses. I mean, you talk about different. One's a little bit more physical. One just but both of them basically build a wall 1 step over the 3-point line and basically say, good luck. I mean, it's not like Duke gets stretched out. They don't get stretched out all that much. Maybe some on ball screens, but they're going to build a wall 1 step over the 3-point line. They're going to switch 1 through 4, 1 through 5, depending on lineups. And I think that's what Calvin's going to try to exploit. He's going to try to get some of those bigs on smalls to get to the offensive glass. And they're going to contest shots. In fact, I'm doing a tape for our game day show, and that's the big part of the tape is showing how basically how Duke builds this wall around the 3-point line. They can run you off the 3, but if you drive it, and unfortunately I couldn't use the Alabama tape, if you drive it, it's pretty hard to get to the front of the rim.
Right. Why couldn't you use the Alabama tape? I'm curious. Oh, because of
NCAA.
Right. Contracts and all of that. Here's what this is what we talked about here like Monday and Tuesday. John Shire and company probably their entire practice week was, I'm sure, trying to keep Houston off the offensive boards, right?
Yep.
But
you can't simulate what they do.
Right.
That's the problem. Like everyone says, oh, you got to keep Houston off the glass. Yeah, you do have to keep Houston off the glass. But you can talk about it, you can show it in film, you can do everything you need to do, but it's going to take getting hit a couple times. It's almost like, spring training before they put the pads on, or they say, exhibition games, but then when you put the pads on for real.
Right.
I think that's the comparison, when you think about how do you simulate what Houston does in your practices. You can't. You can't simulate their strength. You can't simulate their length. You can't simulate their ability to continue to play hard and not take plays off and be connected. And you know what? And Kelvin Sampson, in a lot of ways, he probably can't simulate Malawatch. You know,
Right.
and he can't simulate the lob. Although they're going to put, I guarantee the first time they try to throw a lob off penetration to Malawatch, there's going to be, a forearm in his chest. is my gut feeling. I mean,
Right.
they're going to try to just jack him up. But yeah, I think it's a fascinating game. Older team, young coach, old coach. Style plays are actually pretty similar. Both are going to run on opportunity, off of steals maybe, but they're not going to run crazy. How are the smallish guards of Houston going to handle the size of the backcourt of Carolina? I mean, of Duke. I mean, I think that's going to be the big thing. I mean, they're not being guarded by 6 foot and 6'2" guards now.
Right.
I mean, they're being guarded by big guards that, Proctor's playing his best basketball of the year.
Yeah.
I went back and watched the game last year, the Duke game. Obviously, when Shed was in the game, Houston was doing fine. But I hate to tell everyone this, but this Duke team's a whole lot better than last year's.
They are. And so this is my question for you, Seth Greenberg. I have many questions for you, of course. But it's easy to say, well, Cooper Flagg's the best player, is going to be the first player in the draft. But what makes this Duke team not unstoppable offensively, but what makes their offense so good beyond having a player like Cooper Flagg who you can run everything through?
Yeah, it's that who don't you guard? Let me ask you that. Like, if you can decide what to give, what to take away, I mean, like, in the ACC tournament, they didn't guard Malik Brown. He banged 2 threes, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, he
Right?
did.
Or the Carolina Duke game, one of those games.
Yeah, it was the Carolina Duke game in Chapel Hill, right?
Yeah, in Chapel Hill, and he bangs 2 huge, humongous threes. There's so many different guys that can beat you. I think that Canales, the last few games, has just been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Tyrese Proctor, phenomenal. And not only has Tyrese been great, his poise and his leadership and his decision-making and his shot selection, all the things that at times have been a little suspect, man, he hit a home run on every one of those things.
Yeah, Duke's got so many ways to beat you. Like, they won the ACC tournament, and granted, I know that the ACC was down, way down this year, and I'm not implying too much importance to it, other than they won the conference tournament without Cooper Flagg. So, I think one of the things that makes their offense so good is that they don't have to run it through Cooper. They can run it through Knipple. They can run it through Malik Brown if he's on the court. They can run it through Sion James in the corner. They can run it through almost everybody. But it's
easier when you're running through Cooper.
Oh, yes. It is.
He's a 10-eye guy, man. I call him a 10-eye guy. When he has the ball, all 10 eyes are on.
He is. Not that you compare him in terms of play style to a player, but somebody who has got the whole package. Who comes to mind when from your career in coaching and in broadcasting?
Yeah, look, he's got a little Scottie Pippen in him. He's got a little Grant Hill in him. He's got a little Jason Tatum in him. Those are the guys that he reminds me most of because of his ability to initiate, their offense and defend multiple positions and his versatility. I mean, his versatility is the thing that kind of jumps at me, and I think those are the guys that he kind of jumps at. I'm not saying he's like any one of them, but he's a little bit like all of them. That makes sense.
Yeah, Jason Tatum was his guy as a kid growing up. He loved Jason Tatum's game. I was in Brooklyn watching the ACC tournament when Jason Tatum just absolutely put on a 4-day basketball clinic. That was one of the great things I had ever seen. Seth Greenberg is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. If Houston beats Duke, and they absolutely could, why do you think they do?
They're like the games that Duke struggled a little bit. Like think about in the ACC tournament. You think about when Carolina made their run,
right?
Or the game I think at Carolina in the second half when Carolina made their run. What they do? They got into them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
They pressed them a little bit. They pushed them out a little bit. They disrupted their rhythm a little bit. They made them tentative a little bit. Well, here's the big question that comes. Can, and I'm not saying they will, but can Houston do that with their physicality, with their toughness, with their aggressiveness? If they can, you know what? And push them out and maybe get the ball stuck. Like even in the game the other day when John was trying to run some clock off, like I actually thought he got a little too passive, and I'm not coaching his teams, not with him every day,
right?
Where they got pushed out a little bit. Now they were just running clock and trying to make sure they won the game, but I thought they were better off attacking, not to score maybe, but to flatten the defense. And then when you bring it back out, when everyone's got to close out, now those entry passes are easier. The play that kind of resonates with me on that was the time that Flag threw it to Knipple, and it went right through his legs.
Right. Okay.
They were initiating their offense like 30 feet from the basket.
Right.
Can Houston do that to them? And I think about, the ACC tournament. Think about the game at Carolina. Can Houston push them out? That's I guess that's the big question. And can Houston blitz the ball screens? Now, if I was on Shire, I would surely spend a bunch of time watching that Purdue game and how they rescreened all those ball screens. So when they stepped out and tried to monster or blitz it, they turned and flipped it and rescreened, and all of a sudden that big couldn't get back on the other side. And now all of a sudden you could kind of get a little penetration, move the defense, and make a play. I thought that Matt Painter's game plan for that was phenomenal.
Seth Greenberg is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Real quick in the other game, who do you like between Auburn and Florida?
Yeah, you know what? That is a crazy game because I rewatched that game the other day too, and Auburn couldn't be any worse. Shot selection, awful.
Right.
Awful. I mean, like ball security, awful. They got some offensive rebounds, but they didn't need defensive rebounds. Condon really bothered Janai Broome with his leg. Now I don't know how healthy Condon is because he didn't look totally healthy the other day.
Right.
But I can't imagine Auburn playing worse. I mean, they were awful. I mean, got us to a great start. After that, they didn't play well.
Right.
So, I mean, I got to believe Bruce is going to make adjustments. It really all comes down to, and it sounds sillier than silly. To me, it comes down to Scott Baker-Mazar.
Yeah.
If he's right, they're right. I mean, it really is that simple. If he's right, they're right. If he's wrong and he crosses the line and doesn't straddle the line, when he straddles that line, man, he's good. And, that goes, and then shot selection's got to be good.
Yeah, I just want to watch Walter Clayton Jr. play. I just want to watch
the last 5 minutes of the game.
He is unbelievable. I mean, I think we'll be in agreement here. Texas Tech had it and let it go. You missed the front end of the 1-and-1 twice. You opened the door, and then Florida bashed it down. Maybe Florida comes back to win anyway. Before I let you go, Seth Greenberg, who are we going to be watching Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, my gut feeling is I'm not officially doing this. I'm going to stay with Duke in Florida. That's what I picked all year long. So I guess I'll stick with them.
All right, I like that because that's what my bracket has too. Even though my bracket is already otherwise shot. Seth Greenberg.
My bracket was great till Tennessee and Michigan State. I was 99.9% on it.
Really?
Yeah.
I also had Michigan State.
You say that like you're surprised. Wait a second. You bring me on as a quote-unquote expert, and you say that like it's a surprise. You're killing me.
You know what? I apologize to you. You're a grandfather of four. I apologize to you.
Five.
I'm sorry.
Jackie G had her fifth. Had our fifth.
My gosh.
I was in Raleigh the other day. Jackie G had the baby. I was in Raleigh yesterday.
I know.
The baby the day before.
I know you were. Next time you're here, you have to. Well, you were busy. Next time you're here, though, we have to get you in studio so you can sit down and hang out for a while.
You got it. You can buy lunch.
All right, I'll do that. We have good.
I know you have some deal. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind you have a deal.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
You got it. Seth Greenberg here on the Adam Gold Show. I didn't realize he had 5 grandkids now.
Yeah.
So, look, we have 4 teams that at any point this year have been the number 1 team in the country. Whether it's the voting poll, I think Duke was number 1 going in terms of the writers' poll, whatever. But analytically speaking, all 4 of these teams have been number 1. Whether you're looking at Ken Palm or Bart Torvik or any of the media polls, they've all 4 been number 1. Anybody can win it. I think Duke's got maybe the bigger margin for error based on just how many ways, how many avenues they can travel to beat you. How many players can get hot from three-point range. If Proctor's not shooting, it's Sion James. If James isn't shooting, it's Isaiah Evans or Con Knippel or Caleb Foster. They've got I forgot to mention that Cooper Flagg guy. So many weapons. They've got depth, especially if Malik Brown can play. They've got depth that Houston doesn't possess. So I think it will be Duke in Florida on Monday, but who knows? We got another day to talk about it. When we come back, tush pushing.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. You know, when you go to get your mortgage, if you don't go to Miller Lending, you're either paying closing costs or, for the most part, you're paying closing costs but financing closing costs because so many of those, hey, don't pay fees, companies are just rolling the fees into the loan amount, which means that you're financing closing costs. Miller Lending, we're not taking closing cost money. We don't want it. It's yours. You keep it. Do what you want with it. And then when the rates come down, and they will, you refinance free of charge again, keeping your closing cost money and paying less per month on your mortgage. Miller Lending. I'm an 11-time customer. I would never steer you wrong. I am thrilled with Miller Lending. Gordon Miller invented the process in 1987, and he is your friend too. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
We're in the middle of the madness.
It came to Maluach to throw it down.
From the first 4 to the national championship.
Good night. Cooper Flagg takes the lead to 18.
All the hoops action will be heard here.
For the Blue Devils, the Final Four is calling yet again.
The road to San Antonio is driven by Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, Fairway Green, and First Horizon Bank. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Doesn't the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club give the best massages?
I've never felt so relaxed.
Thanks to this month's scratch-offs, this is our life now.
It's like winning again and again and again.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $150 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 to 3.8 to 9.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Joint pain in your knees, shoulders, or lower back. It can stop you in your tracks. At DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, we offer a revolutionary course of treatment that can eliminate your joint pain and have you back to your old self in no time. Our regenerative therapies actually help repair damaged tissue to eliminate the pain without risky invasive surgery. If you suffer with joint pain and have been told your only options are medications, steroid injections, or surgery, DaVita Med Spa and Wellness offers non-surgical solutions using your body's own cells with minimal downtime and long-lasting results. Experience personalized, compassionate medical care at its best. Call our office now and see how you can get real, long-lasting relief from joint pain through regenerative medicine and the medical experts at DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, spelled DVIDA. Call 984-333-1313. That's 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
March basketball is unpredictable. Your elevators shouldn't be. Metro Elevator keeps your building moving. Our highly trained technicians deliver fast, responsive service for peak performance. Visit metro-elevator.com/Raleigh to keep your elevators in championship form.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Chatfield being challenged behind the play, and Chatfield is not going to back down from Connor McMichael. Chatfield trying to get the arm loose. The linesmen are going to let him go. Chatfield swings down McMichael. Brute strength. He'll get the takedown.
He's back for more. How can you not love him?
Now McMichael found himself in the middle of a Category 5 hurricane there.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. Our friend Brenden Whitted's going to join us in about 20 minutes. If the playoffs started today, I believe we would have a Lakers-Warriors opening round series in the West, which might get more eyeballs than the NBA Finals. LeBron and Steph, who knows how many more opportunities we'll get to see that in a playoff series, and the NBA is close to the end. There are fewer games left in the NBA than there are in the NHL. Anyway, we'll talk about that with Brenden Whitted coming up in about 20 minutes. Before we get to the tush push and some things about it, last night at Lenovo Center, we had a throwback game to the 90s, in which case there were a lot of skirmishes, a ton of them. We had 142 minutes of penalties doled out. Now, yeah, exactly. 80 of those came in the form of 10-minute misconducts, 2 to each side. Carolina ended up going 3 for 8 on the power play. Washington went 1 for 5. Their power play goal was a 5-on-3 goal. Carolina also had a 5-on-3 briefly in the third period. Didn't do anything with it. And I think they scored. It might have been Blake's second power play goal that he scored on there, but doesn't really, off the top of my head, I'm not sure. But that particular highlight that you played, Victoria, where Chatfield and Connor McMichael got into it, and this is part of what Washington was really mad at. Now, they were mad at a lot of things during the game. They claimed that the Hurricanes were taking liberties that the referees didn't see or saw but chose not to call. Because Carolina, of course, has the reputation of being a dirty team.
Right, bunch of goons.
Regardless, just set that aside. I don't know how other people view the Hurricanes. And I hope that the Hurricanes are not a squeaky clean team. Because I got news for people. Hockey ain't a squeaky clean game.
No.
It's a game of trying to get an edge. It's a game of agitating your opponent. And we've been saying for a long time that Carolina needs to play with more of that.
Yes.
So while I don't think Carolina is a dirty team, I do hope that they come up to the line.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how you've got to play. But so that's the way Washington feels. In that particular play, Chatfield ends up body slamming Connor McMichael. Now, I remember seeing this happen, and it happened quickly. They were going at it. They were trying to throw punches. I don't believe Chatfield's intent was to lift McMichael up off the ice and slam him to the ice.
Sure.
I don't believe that was his intent. And it didn't happen exactly that way, but what happened was Chatfield did body slam him. And McMichael wasn't wearing a helmet at the time. And my first reaction to that was, ooh, that could be bad. So I get Washington being, after the fact, angry. I think it's worth pointing out that that McMichael instigated the incident.
Exactly.
So these are the things that are forgotten through all of this. McMichael instigated. Nick Dowd was a walking instigator all night. Pierre-Luc Dubois was given a little extra all the time, including to Sebastian Aho. And then when Tom Wilson tried to line Aho up for an open ice hit, and by the way, it was the second time that Aho smartly, eyes up, avoided the collision.
Did the spin move.
Right? Wilson got mad because Wilson injured himself on the play.
Yeah, it didn't
And he
work.
got super mad, and then he just completely lost touch with reality. A few minutes later, he's fighting Logan Stankoven. Can't make it up.
Stanky. Oh, I love Stanky.
Can't make it up.
Oh, man.
But right after the Aho avoidance of the Tom Wilson hit, Jarvis and Ryan Strome, Ryan or Dylan, whatever.
Another one
Strome,
who likes to.
Jarvis and Strome got into it, and they ended up both getting, I think Strome got two, got a double minor. Jarvis just got one. So it was that kind of a game. I don't begrudge Washington. I don't feel any differently about the Capitals. I think they're a really good team. They're going to win the Metropolitan Division, and it's very likely that these two teams will meet again. First of all, they will meet again on Thursday to wrap up the season series in Washington, the end of the fourth game in a 4-game road trip for Carolina.
Yep.
So they will meet a week from today.
I fully anticipate Wilson dropping gloves as soon as the puck drops too.
He won't do that.
I just feel like
he
that
won't.
would be such a him thing to do.
It would be interesting to see if something like that did happen, because I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Washington says, "All right, we're going to drop the gloves now," and you'll be able to tell based on who's on the ice.
Yeah. Because they got mollywopped here.
Right, but no, I'm not talking about Washington. You'll be able to tell based on who Carolina puts on the ice.
Sure.
So
when Kokanami was on the ice.
He did that on his own.
Which we might have to break him back out when we're in Washington.
It is now Ottawa's Dylan Cousins, who played for Buffalo at the time that happened. But yes, if you see the Hurricanes start that game with Tyson Jost,
KK.
Well, maybe it's just Perry Kotkaniemi, but the Jost, Jankowski, Robinson line, I wouldn't be surprised if that game starts with a fight. Now, it's probably not going to be all three, but Jost is a willing brawler. Okay, good. I don't know that he's great at it, but he is willing to do it.
He's not scared.
So, and he wasn't scared last night. He was one of the guys that actually did get in a fight. A legitimate throwing punches variety fight.
Yes.
Tom Wilson and Logan Stankoven didn't really throw punches. The only ones that tried to really were Jost, and I forget who Jost fought, and McMichael and Chatfield. But there were Washington Capitals players skating around all night long looking to send a message. And this was, when it was 3-0, they were doing it. And it shouldn't surprise anybody. Part of you as a Hurricanes fan probably wishes Carolina would act that way at times when they are getting fed in the goal column, like Washington was being fed in the goal column. That's all right. It'll add some spice to Thursday's game in D.C., and if they meet in the playoffs, it will add further spice to it.
I was waiting for Coach Chekhov to jump off the bench.
I'm sure he thought about it.
I think so.
And Frederick Anderson's resting heart rate went all the way to 20.
I know, buddy.
Dude.
He probably felt like he was drinking a Celsius.
He was just calm all night long. Man, Freddie's played great. Look, whether these two teams meet again in the playoffs or not, don't know. Carolina's got to beat New Jersey first, and Washington would have to beat whoever survives.
Now,
I don't know who's going to make wild card 2 because Washington's going to get wild card 2 in the East, unless they fall apart, in which case I guess it could still be wild card 1. But frankly, if Washington falls apart and Carolina maxes out, Carolina could end up being the 1 seed. I don't anticipate any of that happening. I think it's important for Carolina to maybe stay ahead of Toronto, right? And Toronto and Tampa will play, I believe, this weekend. Toronto and Tampa play. I've said before, I think Tampa's going to win that division.
yeah,
I think Tampa will.
they're turning it on.
Florida is right now struggling for health, among other things. But I think I think Tampa will end up winning that division. And since I believe Carolina can win 2 rounds of the playoffs, how about a Tampa-Carolina Eastern Conference Finals?
Run it back.
We'll say hi to Jake Gensel. And also, could we see, how about a Carolina-Dallas Stanley Cup Finals?
Wow. Oh, boy.
Dallas and Colorado are going to play in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah. That's criminal. The NHL needs to have their head examined. It is, but it isn't. Like, those are... Winnipeg is going to have the best record, but I promise you Dallas and Colorado are the 2 best teams. And they're going to meet in the first round. I know Dallas, right? Dallas is the 2nd best team in terms of record. Vegas is 3rd. Colorado is 4th, but I've seen them all play.
It'll make a good series.
I've seen them all play. All right, real quick before we break and we get to Brenden Whitted to talk a little basketball, I do want to get to our second take of the news of the day, and I want to start with the anti-tush push push. Does that make sense?
It does.
Right?
Double negative.
So they're not voting yet. They will vote in, I believe, May at the next set of meetings. And what's going to happen between now and then is the Green Bay Packers are going to revise their reasoning behind banning the tush push. I don't know what they're going to get to. I was reading about it today. The league wants them to get rid of the tush push. Roger Goodell and company, they want that play outlawed. Regardless of what they want, they have 16 votes to ban it now. Now they need 8 more. You need to get to 24 votes to ban it, and Roger Goodell believes that there are enough people who are kind of teetering that they could convince if they reword why they're doing it. And I'll just say this. There are good reasons to ban something, and then there are poor reasons to ban something. Said this yesterday. Only 2 teams, by the way, ran that play more than 5 times last year. Only 2. Philly and Buffalo. Nobody else ran it. Like, maybe once, maybe twice. Nobody else ran it. A good reason to ban it would be, does it give the offense an unfair advantage? Here is an exchange between Tim Hasselbeck and Bart Scott on ESPN.
For me, from an offense and defensive perspective, look, we're going to eliminate short yardage plays. We're going to eliminate goal line plays.
Come on,
to me, I don't think it's the same thing, when you look at it that way. So, look, I'm shocked. If everybody were the same at it, then I think fine. The fact of the matter is like some people are better at it than others. Look, part of the reason the Eagles are good at it is they have a left guard that's an absolute mauler. Like that's part of, how you build your roster. That's how you call plays. That's how you design your offense. So, look, I think in many respects, you're not dealing in terms of the injury history or injury aspect of it. You're not, dealing with, big, long, fast collisions that you deal with like on kickoff return. It's completely different. Guys are really, 6 inches apart, which really the injury data there isn't going to bear itself out.
Speak your mind, Bart.
Bruh, how can one side push and the other side can't push? How is it illegal for one side to push?
You can push on the defensive side.
No, you can't. That's why your linebackers are jumping over the top.
On that play, you can. On that play, you can.
How many times have you ever seen defensive linebackers? How many times have you seen linebackers push their defensive tackle? I tell you what, once again, they're making it for the offense, so I tell you what, it's going to take a defensive player to fix it. I tell you what, next time one of these offensive these quarterbacks are leaning forward, I'm going to tell my safety to line up at 12 yards, and when he's leaning forward, his head forward, go take a temple shot, knock his ass out. Then they'll take it out because then finally somebody get hurt. Like, what are we talking about? One side can push, the other side can't push?
So that would be a proper reason to ban it. That it gives the offense an advantage over the defense. Another way is something I've brought up many times. What's the difference if I pull or push? Why can't I grab Chuba Hubbard in the backfield and slingshot him over the line of scrimmage? Just yank him and throw him into the secondary. First down. Can't do that. Right? We should catapult players. We should actually reach back, get 2 offensive linemen to make a seat.
Yeah, slingshot.
Chuba Hubbard in and just toss him. You can't do any of that. So why can you push a player? That doesn't make fundamental sense to me. That would be a good reason to ban the play. I do think, and I said this yesterday, the 2 real reasons are that it does give, it seems, Philadelphia an unfair advantage because they're better at it. That's bogus. That's a bogus reason to ban it. And they hide behind player safety. I think it's all tied into one team is great at it, nobody else is, because it is an unstoppable play for the most part. It's got a success rate of about 90%. And again, that's a bad way to do it. And they're hiding behind player safety when, I keep using this example, miss me with your player safety when you add game 17 and soon to be game 18 to the schedule. You've pretended to care, but we know you don't care about player safety, so stop it. All right. Very quick, I'm going to draw an analogy. Now, we don't have time to do it now because Brenden Whitted is coming up on the other side, but we're going to get back to this later because if you're going to make an argument against something, make the argument really worth the argument. Make it matter and don't draw, Bart Scott went too far. We're going to try to kill a quarterback. Yeah, that's no good. And Tim Hasselbeck went too far, or we're going to ban short yardage plays. No, you can't ban short yardage plays unless we ban running. In which case we have flag football, which, by the way, is going to be in the Olympics in Los Angeles, and NFL players are more than likely going to be allowed to participate in that. That's cool. All right, when we come back, our friend Brenden Whitted on the NBA. Maybe he's got a Final Four pick. I don't know. He probably doesn't because he's a Carolina fan, and they're not in it. So we'll talk about Lakers, Warriors, and is Nikola Jokic the best player in the world? Next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
NC State basketball got their guy, Will Wade. He was number 1A on their wish list. He's coming off a win with McNeese State in the NCAA tournament, and all of that is nice, the sizzle, the buzz, it's great. But so much of it is still going to come down to the same thing. Does he have the NIL money to get the players on campus?
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Struggling to get the sleep treatment you need? I'm Megan Giggling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. You shouldn't have to wait for better sleep. Our streamlined process provides for sleep studies, CPAP machines, and supplies, without the long delays you'll find at other sleep centers. At Parkway Sleep, we'll help you get good rest faster, and with the care you deserve.
With over 20 years of experience, join countless satisfied customers who have discovered the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning?
RV wins!
Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast?
RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Hello, Scott Forbes, head baseball coach, University of North Carolina. When it comes to choosing a dealership, I stick with Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Growing up in Sanford, I've been fortunate to be lifelong friends with Will Wilkinson. My family and I have been buying and having our vehicles serviced at Wilkinson for many, many years. Great service, competitive prices, and most importantly, a place you can trust. Go where I go. Go see my longtime friend Will Wilkinson at Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be-in-the-room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Gold. Gold.
If Andrei Svechnikov watched Eric Cole highlight tapes and cause chaos.
Hey, hashtag, you didn't even mean to do that, did you?
I didn't. Well, that's the old one.
I know, but
right?
It's still relevant.
Now we're raising up. Maybe we should go back to cause chaos.
I know, we need to go back to causing chaos.
This is interesting. I did kind of subconsciously bring that out.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. So it's been spirited on the ESPN morning shows last couple of days as Jay Williams has been on a crusade to remind people that it's very possible that Nikola Jokic might be the best player in the league. 61, 10, and 10 in a loss, mostly because Russell Westbrook missed a layup very close to the end of the game, and they called one of the all-time dumb fouls I have ever seen on a game, an attempted game-winning three-point shot. They put, was it Oklahoma City on? Was it Oklahoma City? I don't remember. Denver beat who was it? I don't care who Denver beat. I think it was OKC, but it doesn't matter. They put the guy in the line. He made 2 of the 3, made the first 2. Yeah, it was OKC, and that was it. They didn't need anything else after that. Anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the possibility of Golden State and the Lakers being a first-round matchup and what that would mean. Brenden Whitted, one of our basketball brains here, is joining us. Is he in witness protection?
the light changed like as I pulled the thing on. Like it looked fine like 10 minutes ago. And I was like, oh, this is going to look okay. And then then it was too late. And so now I do look like you need to to jarble my voice. You need to jarble my voice because obviously the fans is watching. And I'm like, I don't know what happened, but I promise you, it didn't look this crazy like 10 minutes ago.
For the people on YouTube, man, you're getting a treat. You're getting a treat. Brenden is not supposed to tell us any of these things. This is all confidential.
I'm just telling you. I just don't want my name associated with such poor lighting. I put it on there, and that's on me. But I just want folks to know. I want the viewers to know. I know you want to see my beautiful face.
You're handsome. You are handsome. So. You know, here's the sad part is that on the screen right now, they can only see me and not you, and that is unfortunate. It should be the other way around.
I see the skincare routine every time I pull up into the joint. I see it. I see what's happening
this
there.
This is all natural.
Do not even do that. Don't leave me on this island.
This is all natural, sir. All right, let's get to.
You woke up like this, 100%.
Every day. Let's get to the second part of how I opened this. With the Lakers and Warriors. Right now, the Lakers are the 3 seed based on winning percentage. I think they have a couple more games left than everybody else based on the Wildfires that canceled some games. I think the Lakers are still playing catch-up. But how unbelievable would it be? And I'm not saying that this is wrong or not. I think it would be tremendous for the first round of the NBA playoffs, which usually are avoidable for a lot of people, right? But a 4-5 matchup of Golden State and the Lakers might get more viewers than the NBA Finals.
I mean, you have the 2 biggest names. I mean, 2 of the biggest names, right? Like it's if you got Giannis, Jokic, I mean, Luka's there too now. I mean, like he's somewhere in there. Like you have some of the large Jimmy Butler, you have some of the most visible stars of the league there. And you open with talking about Jokic and the 60-point triple-double, which is I still don't understand how that's a thing that just happened, but it is a thing that happened because he's just everywhere.
Yeah.
But don't forget about the 50, 10, and 8 Steph just put up on Tuesday, bro. Like folks is showing out. Like this is a good time. Like if no shots. If you are just now tuning in to the NBA, you are getting treated to some great games.
Yeah.
Like everybody has stepped it up a little bit. It sucks about the Mavs because Anthony Davis had a fantastic game. But like we're due to injury, they just kind of got left out. But you're getting pretty much every other superstar in the league, and it's fun to watch. Like I'm just enjoying watching basketball right now. It's a good time.
The NBA is certainly in an upward trajectory. So if we do get LeBron versus Steph in the opening round, I mean, the treat for people to see these two. I mean, LeBron is he's a top 1 player, but I get it. He's no worse than 2 on anybody's list. Steph, to me, is a top 10 player all time, and probably closer to 5 than he is to 11. And the fact that LeBron is 40 and Steph is in his,
37, I think Steph,
mid to upper 30s, right?
Yeah.
I just don't, how do you quantify that for people? Like, I don't. Steph's not necessarily better than he was, 5 years ago, and LeBron isn't better than he was 5 years ago. But they're still both great.
Look, man. Look, since the All-Star break, Steph's right at 50, 40, 90. They're 15-2 in games he plays. Like, that Golden State team is a different squad since they got Jimmy Butler. It's not all Butler. It's guys getting healthy and stuff like that. But, like, man, that's a really, really, really good team. And I don't want them to play in the first round because I want them to meet a little bit later in the playoffs, just personally.
Right.
Those are two of my favorite players, and I don't want it to be over before it starts. But that's a completely different Golden State team than was here in December. When we had a conversation, I remember coming on and I was like, they'll make the playoffs. And you were like, oh, will they? Because that was what was going on right then. They just weren't playing like that caliber of basketball. I just assumed that they were going to make some sort of transaction happen. You don't just waste years of an all-time great player. At some point, we're going to have the Magic Johnson, Steph Curry conversation. Just at some point, as the best point guard to do it.
I'm here for
like
you.
At some point, like, because I'm there already, but like I understand. I didn't get to see like legendary Magic. That's a little bit before my time. You know,
Right.
five wins and 9 finals appearances. Something special. I get you. For the best guy to ever shoot, doing it in a sport where shooting matters, maybe.
No,
Just
I'm with
maybe.
you. That's why I said I think Steph's closer to 5 than he is to 11 when you say top 10 player all time. I mean, I think Steph belongs on that that list with LeBron and Michael and Larry and Kareem and like it's you don't get very far before you get to Steph. I don't believe.
Another North Carolina guy. It's almost like you can't have a conversation about basketball without mentioning Steph Curry and Jordan and best backcourt ever. I mean, just one state. Only one state does it. I'm just saying, just a little bit more respect. A little bit more respect on my state's name.
As a guy who was born in New York City, we can also claim Michael, sir.
Don't do it. Don't do it. He was not 3 years old in Brooklyn crossing folks over. Where did he learn to play basketball? In Wilmington, North Carolina. Don't do it. I went to school with a lot of people like you that won it for whatever reason.
In Kings County. I'll just say it that way. Born in Kings County. That's Brenden Whitted. In witness protection. It says it on the screen, but if you looked at it, you went, I have no idea who Gold's talking to.
I mentioned Steph and Magic in the same joint. I gotta go dark. Nobody can like you. Just I don't. I honestly, Victoria, take the HU Cosell off that joint. Don't let folks know because the DM's gonna be crazy. Like I understand. I get it.
We should say anonymous. You should change Brenden Whitted to anonymous on the screen at this point.
The hot takes come out when you can't see my face. I feel it.
Jay Williams on, I think it was Get Up earlier this week, said that if Steph or LeBron had gone for a 60-point triple-double, that ESPN would have shut down. That's all we would have been talking about for 3 days. I don't think he's wrong. I think he's right. Is there a pushback? Because when Jokic does these things, and he does these things routinely, Jokic, he's more like Magic than any other player, with his creativity in passing. Is there something about him that some people just can't process? Because I think Jay is right. I think he is the best player in the league. I think he's the best player in the world. Those two things are the same thing. And, maybe Wembanyama will overtake him eventually. But we're not there yet. He's the most unstoppable force in the sport, no?
I don't have a problem with somebody coming in and telling me that he's the best player in the league. I don't think he's the MVP this year, which is I think has been SGA because I think SGA is markedly better defensively.
Right.
And the success of the team, the whole thing, like all the MVP stuff, right? Like, hey, we're number one.
They are 64-12. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, like I mean, all that's all the stuff. Like, and there's a case we made. J-Dub, by the way, 25-5 on a really good shooting clip on that same team. Like, he is fantastic. Like, people don't ever talk about him in terms of number twos on teams. He is a fantastic number two. But I wouldn't have a problem with saying Jokic is the best player in the world. Now, if you tell me that LeBron at 40 years old was to give you a 60, 10, and 10 burger, then like, okay, yeah, that probably will leave some stories because he should have been retired like 5 years ago. So yeah, but even Steph's thing, like Steph, the thing about LeBron is physically just an imposing sort of person.
Yeah.
Like you see him play, it makes sense. Oh, yeah, he's one of the greatest players of all time. Steph, best shooter of all time. It's obvious. It jumps off the screen. Jokic's stuff is just like being really good at basketball. And like it's just never one particular thing. Because it could be the points one night, it could be the assists one night.
Right.
He could do a lot of things. Like what was an interesting stat to me that ESPN I saw crawl in the ESPN joint. The Nuggets are like 0-3 in games he scores 50 or more points. And I found it fascinating because that's how I've always thought you should guard Jokic. Let him get his. Just don't let him feed every single person out everywhere else. Right? Like he is if he is the son of this universe with the Nuggets offense. Hey, you burn as bright as you want to. Just keep your light off these other planets. That's what I've always thought. And the numbers seem to indicate that they work better when his assists go up and his points go down. It's just hard to stop. Like he's stronger than you think because he's not muscular, but he'll just move you out of the way. Like I don't ever think he gets credit for being that sort of strong. His feet are nimble, his vision is exceptional. The shooting like from deep hasn't been there like that this year. But he's still been really, really good. Like he's so much fun to watch. Like it does again, and he's also in Denver. I think that hurts him a little bit.
I think you finally got to it. Their record is good, but their record is not great.
Right.
But he is averaging 29.7, 12.8 rebounds, 10.2 assists, and nearly 2 steals. He leads them in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. He's second on the team in blocks. He is Cooper Flagg.
That's interesting.
I'm just kidding.
But like I actually really, really like Flagg a lot. You know who Flagg reminds me of? Like this is going to be a reach, but like who I thought Ben Simmons would be.
Oh, okay.
Like a guy that just in terms of his play, even when he's not shooting well, his playmaking and defense are exceptional. And that's why I like first pick. No, you don't even think about it. You run up to the stage type stuff. Like even if your shot's not going, you are still a dominant player. That's
what happened against Alabama. I mean, he was a willing shooter. I mean, and you know, all jokes aside, we have had a row about that. You and I and others about Ben Simmons before. And my problem with Ben Simmons has always been you have to be a willing shooter. Yeah. In the NBA, if you are not willing to shoot, the rest of your game can't be as good as it will be because these guys they're all too good. If you're not willing to shoot the basketball, for me, he was afraid to miss. Cooper's not afraid to miss. He doesn't miss a ton, but he's not afraid to miss.
But he's not afraid of a moment.
No,
he's that kind of a guy. He's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulders. He's kind of a jerk, and I mean that in the kindest way possible. Like, nah, bro. Like, you're not gonna there are just some times where he will take over a game, and it'll be like in the a 10-minute mark in the second half, right? Where they're kind of still close. Not like Duke has been in a ton of close games, but there have been some times when they've been in some stuff, and Cooper will just get them out of it. You know what I mean? He would just be like, no, I'm just going to go on this little 8-point run.
Well, he did that against Arizona, right?
Yeah.
That was a close game, and it was a close game even at halftime. It was only, I think, a 6-point Duke lead, but Cooper decided, no, I'm giving you separation now.
Yeah, this is over.
Right.
Like I'm done. I got study hall later, bro. I'm not doing this all night.
How many teams are tanking for him?
I mean, it doesn't matter if he's going with the Hornets. He's going to end up on the Hornets team.
Is he?
Right. Yep, I'm calling it right now.
They're tanking for him. New Orleans is tanking for him.
They don't have to intentionally tank. That's the greatness of the Hornets. we can try our hardest
organically
and still lose. Yeah, we're real losers.
So you'll
not
get
these
the
fake
second
losers
pick.
out here. We're real losers in Charlotte. There you go.
Who's the consolation prize in this draft? Is it Ace Bailey or is it Dylan Harper?
You know who Bailey reminds me a lot of, and I don't know how this is going to come out. Adam Morrison.
Oh gosh, then you'll get it.
Don't do that.
So wait, you live in D.C. Wouldn't you rather have Cooper Flagg with the Wizards?
No, I don't. No, I don't want to see them happy. Like I enjoyed them not being terrible, but let me just be very clear. Commanders fans real jerks now that they're finally okay. Like out of nowhere, I don't know who the worst fans.
See, this is
in
why
the
he's
NFL
in a
are.
silhouette.
I don't know who the worst fans in the NFL are, but they're in the NFC East. 100%. It's one of them. I don't know which one, but one of them. I don't know if it's Dallas. I don't know if it's Washington. One of the.
I don't necessarily agree about the Commandos fans because they have been tempered. I'm assuming here, based on 20-some-odd years of Dan Snyder.
That's what they say about DC residents. Real tempered. Yeah, real reserved. Yeah, this group. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, you know
100%.
what? You're making very good points now. That's Brenden Whitted. Trust me, if you're watching the video, it really is. It says it. His name is right there at HU Cosell. All right. We're going to fly. I appreciate your time, my man. We'll send you a light or something for next time. That's so good.
It wasn't like this one turned it on. I promise.
Okay. You should put it on the other side then. You should put it like behind the camera. I think that works better.
No, but it worked. But it like before because it's like right at like we're not okay. I'm just telling you. I look fantastic.
You're the man. I appreciate your time. Brenden Whitted here on the Adam Gold Show. So I love that. So I don't always look up because we have a camera here. It works better if I look at the camera. Right? That's the way the whole thing's supposed to work. So I'm talking to you, however many people are watching on YouTube, or if you watch the clips of the show on YouTube. What? So during the commercial break, go find out what I said there. I'm not sure what that was. But it works better if I talk directly to the camera. So every once in a while, I look up just to see, if there's anything worth commenting on. And I looked up and I only saw Brenden like he was hiding from the mob.
Yeah, it's a silhouette. Yeah.
Happens. Happens. All right, we'll take a break. We have to stretch. We do have a bit of news about the Atlantic Coast Conference, which is going to make some of the old heads and the old head sympathizers mad. Next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
It's okay not to be okay. Feelings of loneliness, anger, and worry are completely normal, and you're not alone. If you need help coping, call, text, or chat the free 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Someone is always there to talk, day or night. Together, we will find the care that works for you. Just call, text, or chat 988 anytime to talk to a trained counselor who will listen, provide support, and connect you to other resources that can help. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
This April, join North Carolina Realtors in celebrating Fair Housing Month. Fair housing means everyone deserves a place to call home, regardless of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, or disability. NC Realtors are committed to fair housing for all North Carolinians and ensuring that everyone has access to safe and affordable housing. Let's work together to create communities where everyone can thrive. Visit ncrealtors.org to learn more about fair housing. Paid for by NC Realtors.
Going to college gives you more career options. You could say it pays for itself, but it might not feel that way in the short term, especially when tuitions do. That's where the FAFSA comes in. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. It's your gateway to money for college. Whether you're seeking scholarships, grants, work-study programs, or loans, it all starts with the FAFSA. So how about it? Make a plan for college and find everything you need for the FAFSA at cfnc.org.
For 70 years, PBS North Carolina has been a part of your life, teaching, inspiring, and entertaining you. From learning French cooking with Julia to uncovering history with Henry Louis Gates Jr., we've shared countless memories. Together, we've celebrated every moment, and it's all thanks to you, the people of North Carolina. Your support has made it possible for us to keep bringing you the best programming on TV and beyond. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people age 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/aging to find your county's ombudsman.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. So we went into the break, and I said I was going to bring up some news that would have the old heads, some news regarding the ACC that would have the old heads and the old heads sympathizers angry. I tweeted this out not that long ago, and I quote tweeted the story, and I said, outrage coming in 3, 2, 1. And as expected, some are angry. The ACC is staging next year's women's basketball tournament, which has been in Greensboro for 25 of the last 26 years. Next year, it would be in, they're calling it like Metro Atlanta, however they're saying it. It's in Duluth. It's not in Atlanta. It's in Duluth, Georgia, which I believe, if I'm in any way accurate with my Atlanta metro suburb geography, I think kind of North Georgia is Duluth. So it's not in Atlanta. It's north of Atlanta. But having been to Atlanta several times for various reasons, the suburbs it'd be like there's a lot going on in the suburbs. There is sprawl in Atlanta that we would despise here because of all the traffic it would create. But it's not like 35 miles from downtown Atlanta is out in the cornfields. So, I mean, there's like population. The Braves are in Cobb County, Georgia.
Right.
They ain't in Atlanta either.
No.
So, I knew this would bother some people. And I will just say, in my brain, I knew exactly who it would bother the most. And so I'm, in some ways, enjoying this moment even more. It's okay that the ACC Women's Tournament is going to spend a year outside of Greensboro. It doesn't mean that Greensboro is bad. It doesn't mean that we're trying to race away as fast as we can from that city that has been so good to the ACC. And it's not what it's about. I've said this about the ACC men's tournament. It should move around. It doesn't belong to anyone. It doesn't belong to any state. When you have, how many teams do we have in this league now? For basketball, we've got 18. For football, we have 17. For all other sports that are sanctioned by all the schools, we've got 18. We shouldn't always hold every championship here. Except for soccer, that should always be at Wake Med Soccer Park. There's no other place to hold it. I'm sort of making a joke, but for the men's basketball tournament, the women's basketball tournament, the baseball tournament, it's okay to bring it to different cities. That's kind of goodwill, isn't it? Isn't that being neighborly? We don't play home games all the time. Sometimes we got to play a road game. That's all right. So I've said this before, I have no interest in going back to Brooklyn for the ACC tournament for basketball. No interest at all in going back to Brooklyn, but I have every interest in going to New York, Madison Square Garden. But we should contemplate Boston. We should think about Pittsburgh. We should think about Dallas. I'm not joking. That's not a regular thing, but we should consider that. But I know those of us who live here, man, wasn't it great back in the old days when we were just always have it in Greensboro. Frustrating. All right, let's stretch.
Well, so I don't know if some people have heard about this. People are having fun with LeBron James, who last month reached 50,000 points. He became the first player to score 50,000 points.
Yeah, they combined all of playoffs and regular season points to get to that.
Yes. Well, a guy had made a 35-second tribute song. I don't know if anyone's heard this.
I have not heard it.
But it's a parody of Man in the Mirror.
Oh, geez. This is going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. It is fantastic. So the men's choir at Baylor University covered this the other day, and they put it on TikTok and Instagram. A reporter had asked LeBron if he heard it or heard of this trend now going around where there's LeBron James songs, and he said he had, but not because he's on TikTok. It's because his son, Bryce, is on TikTok. So this is Baylor University's men's choir.
Because they needed change, then you got to say his name. His name is LeBron James. I'm talking about the man on the Lakers. LeBron, I'm asking you to say his name. LeBron James. And don't message your big name.
I kind of dig it.
I know. It's really good.
I kind of dig it.
Yep, there you go. So yeah, there's apparently more songs about LeBron James. That's going to create a trend, so you can check that out. They did a really good job. They were singing very well. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a trend, however, but I love a good pun, and Dolly Parton has a great sense of humor because we all know her song Jolene.
Yes.
I'm sure most of us, unless you live under a rock or in the dark space like Aaron Rodgers.
Great song.
Well, on April Fool's Day, this came out, but it was not a prank. So now she's coming out with jeans called Jolene's.
Nice.
I love this so much. She's partnering up with Khloe Kardashian's label, Good American. And starting today, you can buy said jeans. I have not looked these up, but they are online or Nordstrom stores, just average run-of-the-mill. And they're going to run you about either $64 to $229 per pair. all sizes, extra small to 5X. So, pick your choice. And Dolly herself says that they make your butt look good. So
all right, then.
There you go. If
Dolly says it will make my butt, no, these are probably not for me.
If that's what you're going for,
yeah.
Dolly's got you covered with her Jolene's. It's fantastic.
Nice.
And maybe we have you covered with some good bets.
Maybe.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
I, by the way, did not bet Washington last night. I had a good feeling about last night.
Yeah.
A very good feeling going into the game.
Uh-huh.
So.
Well, we'll see how round 2 goes. But tonight, I'm going to start with the Colorado Avalanche are going to Columbus to take on the Blue Jackets. Now, they just won their second shootout against the Chicago Blackhawks because they gave up a 2-goal lead. So maybe they spent it all last night. Now they got to travel. So give me the at-home underdog Blue Jackets to win. They're plus 120.
I like it. I think the Blue Jackets will win.
Mm-hmm.
I also like Ottawa at home plus 125 to beat Tampa tonight. Ottawa's the team nobody wants to see.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to be a pain. I'm going to give you one more real quick.
Yeah.
How about 2 goals or more for Mikko Rantanen as Dallas hosts Nashville? It's plus 1,100 for Mikko to score twice.
Wow. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Well, next up, Boston Bruins are going to be in Montreal taking on the plucky Canadiens. So give me the Canadiens to win, and I'll take the under 5.5. That's plus 200.
They're playing very well.
Mm-hmm.
Montreal could be, as Luke DeCock said earlier, could be Carolina's second-round opponent.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. Man, I hope they get in. I hope the Rangers don't.
Yes.
That's not that I don't want to face the Rangers. I think Carolina would beat the Rangers in a playoff series. I just think the world is a better place when the Rangers aren't in the playoffs.
Yes, and their fans can sit down. It's great. Yeah, I said that.
That sounds so bitter. And I know there are Ranger fans listening, getting mad, and you know what? I apologize. I do. There's no need to be bitter about that. None at all. All right, on the other side, more about the tush push, and you'll hear from Jay Williams as well.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
NC State basketball got their guy, Will Wade. He was number 1A on their wish list. He's coming off a win with McNeese State in the NCAA tournament, and all of that is nice, the sizzle, the buzz, it's great, but so much of it is still going to come down to the same thing. Does he have the NIL money to get the players on campus?
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Doesn't the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club give the best massages?
I've never felt so relaxed.
Thanks to this month's scratch-offs, this is our life now.
It's like winning again and again and again.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $150 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 to 3.8 to 9.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
At First Carolina Bank, we pride ourselves on building relationships and doing the day-to-day things in banking extremely well. Experience the First Carolina way for yourself or your business today. Visit firstcarolinabank.com. First Carolina Bank. Member FDIC.
Marcy Bailey from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Here to share why Bailey's is consistently voted best place to buy your diamond. First off, our amazing selection of diamonds is unparalleled. We also have hundreds of the most coveted engagement ring styles to fit any budget. You can also utilize our vast selection of loose diamond inventory and custom workshop to create your dream ring. And if that's not enough, we also offer an unprecedented lifetime diamond guarantee. I invite you to come see for yourself. Visit us today in store or at baileybox.com.
Child abuse. It happens in all communities. Learning to spot the signs of abuse and knowing how to report it can save a child's life. Children's Advocacy Centers of North Carolina supports over 50 centers statewide, providing hope and healing to young victims of abuse, neglect, and trauma. Join us in the fight against child abuse. Visit cacnc.org to learn more. That's cacnc.org.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Have you heard? Kohl's has 2 exclusive new home brands, Miriana and Mingle & Co. From luxe favorites that are all about turning your space into a sanctuary to fun mix and match dining essentials, there's so much to discover. And trust me, you're gonna love everything. Plus, you can get an extra 20% off throughout the store during our Friends and Family sale. So hurry to Kohl's today and bring it all home for less. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offer ends April 6th. See store or Kohls.com for details.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
I have no doubt that the ACC is going to be back extremely strong and very, very healthy as a conference, because you're going to see these new coaches and some of these guys that have taken over for these legends be able to establish themselves and establish their programs.
Will Wade from the other day here on the Adam Gold Show. I agree. I think the ACC will get back. Can't be as bad as it was. Not this year. North Carolina will be better. NC State will be better. Theoretically, Syracuse will be better. Wake Forest should be better. We'll see how all of those universities bounce back. I know North Carolina's, whether you can phrase it, they've done good work in the transfer portal yet or not. I don't know if you could say it that way, but they are clearly concentrating on that first and foremost. Is what it is. I think you need to build a foundation and North Carolina should be able to do this, high school recruiting, but you have to enhance smartly through the portal. But every team does it differently. I know Will Wade said there'd be a lot of portaling this year because, frankly, it's too late to really get involved with players who could help you now. You know, the recruiting process. It goes back to that article I had mentioned earlier. Brenden Marks for The Athletic wrote about the relationship between John Shire and Cooper Flagg and where it started and all that. And I just thought it was a great piece and worth your time, especially if you're a Duke fan. But, this is kind of how it's done. It's about relationships. It isn't about anything else. All right, lots to do. We'll talk Final Four with Seth Greenberg in a little bit. But right now, it's time for the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, this is a great little bit of video that I saw as I was perusing the interwebs today. This is Grambling head basketball coach Mickey Joseph, who has a unique perspective when it comes to players. And we talked to Lavelle Moten about this yesterday, right? Players who go here, and if you average 9 points at Central, man at a bigger school is going to take you and pay you. So here's Mickey Joseph on that particular scenario.
We understand. I think the kids understand if they're here and if they're sophomores and they have a big year and a group of 5 or a power 5 approach them and they have the finances to pull them out of there and I can't match the finances, then you know what? They're going to go. That's part of it. Coach has been doing it for years. So we shouldn't get mad as coaches when these kids make decisions to take care of their family. Because like I said, I'm going to say it again, Coach has been doing it for years. But I also think there need to be a buyout. If they move up for me and go to group of 5 and power 5, I should get kind of a compensation for that, So NCAA, if you're listening to me, I need a buyout.
All right, he laughed at the end, but that actually does have merit. That, okay, you have bought this player out of the portal. You bought him with money, you bought him with greater exposure. You have given this person a better deal. That other team that you're taking him from might deserve something. It doesn't have to be of equal value, but something. And what's interesting is that what have I always said about college sports? I think the most like comparison to college sports is the European football system of promotion and relegation. Not only that, but just the way they run everything. And unless you're out of contract, which frankly, like half of Liverpool are, but unless you are out of contract, I can get your player, but I have to pay you for that player. So I'd be all about that. Now, let's just set that aside for a second. What Coach Joseph is asking for is some level of compensation in return for allowing this player to walk away. Not that the coach can hold him there against his will. He can do what he wants. I think it is very possible. I think it is not a terrible way to do business. And we can achieve that through collective bargaining. That's what we're talking about. All of these things. I'm trying to think how many years ago it was. It's either 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe it was 2. Heck, it might have been last year. I don't even know now. I had an argument with Doug Gottlieb at the Final Four. He was on the show. And Doug Gottlieb is one of those people who is hard in the paint. Athletes are amateurs. They deserve nothing. They're getting a scholarship, blah, 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 blah. And I brought up the possibility of collective bargaining. And he said, why would athletes need that? They're getting everything they want now. And I said, Doug, that ain't for the athletes. That's for the schools. And he couldn't process that it could possibly benefit management to have collective bargaining. What is the biggest complaint that management has? They don't know what the rosters are. They have no cost certainty. This is the way to get it. You just have to be willing to give up something in order to get that. And what you give up is the control, the dominance that management currently wields over labor. Free labor, until recently, and until the House settlement, labor that the schools didn't have to pay at all. It's just pretty simple. That is possible through collective bargaining. You can collectively bargain anything. They collectively bargained a random age that adults can play in the NBA, or can play in the WNBA, or can play in the National Football League. Randomly. We've just decided that you must be 21. Or actually, it's not an age. It's how many years you are from your high school class's graduation. It's the dumbest thing. Random. Some people are advanced. some people it doesn't matter. The greatest kicker that we've ever seen, a guy who can make 100-yard field goals with 100% accuracy, cannot play in the NFL until his high school class has graduated by 3 years. It's dumb. Just dumb. All right, moving on. Jay Williams. This was on Get Up. I referenced this in our conversation with Brenden Whitted. This is about Nikola Jokic being the best player on the planet.
I think he's outpacing Shaq, Kareem, and Kareem. He's outpacing them. Both Kareem and Kareem. Yes, Hakeem and Kareem. Okay. Here's what's bothering me as a Joker fan. And it's natural. We're going to wake up every morning, and you're going to see highlights of Stephen Curry in 52. We're going to talk about Russell Westbrook. This was one of the greatest performances individually I've ever seen. Yeah. He's not loud. He's not as flashy. But you are looking at one of the most gifted, if not the best big men maybe to ever play the game. That is what we are watching. Just embrace it. And by the way, if this were LeBron, if this were Steph, who had 61, 10, and 10, ESPN would shut down. We'd be talking about it for 3 days. How are we not leading every show with Nikola Jokic? How are we not talking about his individual greatness? Anthony Edwards said it last night. I've never seen a player like him play this way. I think he's...
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Jay Williams is wrong at all. The whole thing was funny, though. Jokic is, I mean, he's a savant.
He felt some type of way, too, because in the clip, he's like standing up at the end.
I know.
Saying it with his chest.
Jay's I love Jay.
Me too.
I'm a
He's
big
great.
fan. All right, moving on. So let's spend a little bit of time on last night's hockey game from a Washington perspective. Look, Canes were way better in the first period. Carolina dominated the first period, led 3-0. Could have been more. Could have been 5, to be 100% honest. Maybe should have been at least 4, as Mark Jankowski and Seth Jarvis both had, I mean, grade A-plus scoring chances while shorthanded. And these were separate power plays too, so one would not have negated the other. And neither scored. I mean, simply put, if either player elevates the puck 3 inches, they're goals. So they led 3-0 after one. They scored the first goal in the second period about midway through. Alexander Ovechkin eventually scored to make it 4-1, and the Hurricanes ended up winning at 5-1. And first we'll hear from Ovechkin, but I will just say quickly to kind of set everything up, is that Washington kind of accused Carolina of being they did, and you'll hear from the head coach, a dirty team. Yes, those Carolina Hurricanes, dirty. All right, here's Ovechkin on the challenges of playing against the Canes.
Yeah, we know they're going to come on hard. They use their chances in the first, and obviously I think we have a pretty good chance in the second, first shift breakaway. And, it's in this game, like, if you have a chance, you have to use it. And I think all goalies play well tonight, and obviously they scored, and we not. And then in the third period, it was a battle, and, it was a good battle.
It was a gong show in the third period. You know what the real big difference was? It wasn't just special teams. Jacob Slavin matters. Watch the game. There were, I think in the first period, 3 separate instances where Slavin either intercepted a pass, got his stick on a shooting attempt, or otherwise defended a play to the point where no scoring chance kind of was created. He's a big difference in everything. He has been that good really all year, but I think he's been even better lately. All right, Spencer Carber is Washington's head coach. What did he make of the third period shenanigans?
It's just our team. We're not going to go quietly in the night. And if we feel as a group and our guys feel like someone or something happens on the ice that crosses the line, like they're going to end.
Crosses the line.
Because the Canes were the first ones that
Crosses the line. All right, more from Carberry.
No, I wouldn't say that. I just think that there's a couple subtle instances that happen in that game that get when the game is the score that it is. It gets and that's where the refs, if they miss something, that's where players start to police themselves and say, like, look, this went on here, and feel like player safety becomes an issue, and then obviously guys are going to stick up for one another.
Player safety. All right. I'm going to give Spencer Carberry the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to say that Spencer Carberry watched his team have like a 4-year-old temper tantrum on the ice. And rather than say, yeah, we kind of came off our discipline, rather than say that and embarrass his team, I think he basically decided, you know what, I'm going to take the bullet. I'm going to say, well, those dirty Hurricanes, they're getting away with all of their obvious shenanigans. So subtle. Yes, very subtle. As it was phrased to me about Tom Wilson today by someone I trust, Tom Wilson's an idiot. Why don't you go pick on Jalen Chatfield instead of Logan Stankoven?
Wow.
Like, I'm not even sure Jalen Chatfield wants any part of that.
No.
I don't think we had seen Chatfield get involved in anything this year.
Usually not.
Like, it is so funny. It is so funny to listen to Tom Wilson complain about another team being across the line.
Yeah.
Or Nick Dowd, who, look, I have great respect for both players. Wilson is a dynamite player, and there isn't a Hurricanes fan on this earth that wouldn't accept him on the Canes.
Sure.
He is a really good player who has become a goal scorer, and we know what he is capable of in terms of agitation. And one thing that all these players have in common is that they know how to gain an edge. And I think Washington right now is in, we might need an edge when we play them next. Here's the dirty little secret about the Capitals. It's not that they're not good. They're good. But are they 110 points good? And my argument is, no, I don't think they are. And what I see in what happened yesterday is a team that is in some ways just doubting how good they are. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I don't think Carolina is great either. Somebody asked me last night after the game, I didn't answer the question on the podcast, do you still believe the Hurricanes aren't a true Stanley Cup contender? Which is sort of what I said. I just believe they're a second tier. By the way, I would say that the Edmonton Oilers in 2006 were a second-tier Stanley Cup contender.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Sabres, who made it to the Eastern Conference Finals that year, lost to Carolina in 6. 6 or 7? 7. They were a second-tier Stanley Cup contender.
Yeah, I mean, this was supposed to be a rebuild year anyway.
I don't think the Hurricanes are as good as Tampa. I don't think they're as good as Florida. But I think they're better than the other options. I just think Florida and Tampa are the two best. Remains to be seen. They could end up one eliminating the other. And who knows, maybe you never have to face that team. And that is a possibility. But I think the Hurricanes are behind the two Florida teams in terms of Eastern Conference supremacy. So that's the way I answer that question. Yeah, it hasn't changed. Florida, to me, Washington is having doubts as to what they truly are as a team. Because sometimes when you are greater than your parts, And I think Washington is better than what their parts are. Sometimes the fear is it's going to go away at some point. And my read is that this is what Washington is looking at. Because if you were truly accepting of, look, we're great, it doesn't matter, have your fun.
Yeah.
Then you just skate out the game and we're done and we'll see you Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to risk hurting your players as you go into the playoffs?
But there you go. Mm-hmm. But that's what Washington chose to do last night.
Mm-hmm.
They chose to be that team that really can't handle the loss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
no, Wilson was definitely in his kitchen, in his own brain. He
was inside his own head. And when he swung and missed basically at Aho, he got super mad, and he also hurt himself.
Hurt his pride.
On that whole, well, it looked like he might have tweaked a muscle or something. You know, he didn't.
Yeah.
He stayed in the game.
Yeah.
Long enough to get in a fight with Logan Stankoven and then be sent off.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Coach Chekhov just smirking, too, like, oh, one more thing. I'm jumping on. Love him.
He would get suspended.
He would.
So, all right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Seth Greenberg from San Antonio on the Final Four. Next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the postgame mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
Need CPAP supplies fast? I'm Brenden Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers, and we are the Triangle's top sleep provider, offering quick access to the equipment you need for better sleep. Get the right supplies right when you need them. With over 20 years of experience, our expert team is here to help you sleep better, sooner.
Discover why so many trust Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. Visit parkwaysleep.com now and start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We have unlimited data that never slows you down, covered by the Verizon 5G network, and all for less than $30 a month when you get 4 lines. And the best part, we give you a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G when you switch to the 5G Unlimited or 5G Plus Unlimited plan. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. ¿Vos está pronto?
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It's time to find appliances that fit your needs and your style at the Home Depot. Shop Spring Black Friday savings and get up to 35% off select appliances like GE Profile, plus free delivery. From all-in-one washer-dryer combos that can wash and dry a full load in under 2 hours to feature-loaded refrigerators with built-in autofill water pitchers, GE Profile has appliances made to simplify your life and elevate your home. Shop Spring Black Friday savings on top brand appliances and get free delivery happening now at the Home Depot. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $396 or more. Offer valid April 3rd through April 23rd. U.S. only. See store online for details.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry. I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. All chalk in the Final Four. Last time that happened was 2008. It was also San Antonio. And the man who arrived on the scene like a torpedo bat, ESPN's own Seth Greenberg, who joins us. How are you, sir?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Have you already gone out and bought a torpedo bat?
No, not because they're not going to be around long for it, I hear.
No, really? Oh, no, seriously. Are you breaking news? Are we getting rid of the torpedo bat?
No. I am definitely not breaking news. I am not a newsbreaker. We know better than that. We know better than that. I stay very much in my lane.
I would hope they wouldn't ban the torpedo bat. Just give them to everybody. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, Judge is so good, he don't even need no stinking torpedo bat.
Oh, he's not using one?
No, he's not using one.
Oh my gosh! I think the Yankees have 5 guys using torpedo. Like whatever. If the bat conforms, the bat conforms. I would say just get one. That's what Ellie De La Cruz likes it. He hit 2 homers and drove in 7 the first day he used it. All right, let's talk about Duke and Houston. This will be the most physical brand of defense that Duke has faced all year. Are they equipped to handle that?
Yeah, they're equipped to handle it because Houston's probably going to play against the best defense they played against all year.
True.
Yeah, like you're talking about 2 elite defenses. I mean, you're talking about, different. One's a little bit more physical. One just, but both of them basically build a wall 1 step over the 3-point line and basically say, good luck. I mean, it's not like Duke gets stretched out. They don't get stretched out all that much. Maybe some on ball screens, but they're going to build a wall 1 step over the 3-point line. They're going to switch 1 through 4, 1 through 5, depending on lineups. And I think that's what Telvin's going to try to exploit. He's going to try to get some of those bigs on smalls to get to the offensive glass. And they're going to contest shots. In fact, I'm doing a tape for our game day show, and that's the big part of the tape is showing how basically how Duke builds this wall around the 3-point line. They can run you off the 3, but if you drive it, and unfortunately I couldn't use the Alabama tape, if you drive it, it's pretty hard to get to the front of the rim.
Right. Why couldn't you use the Alabama tape? I'm curious. Oh, because of
NCAA.
Right. Contracts and all of that. Here's what this is what we talked about here like Monday and Tuesday. John Shire and company probably their entire practice week was, I'm sure, trying to keep Houston off the offensive boards, right?
Yep.
But
you can't simulate what they do.
Right.
That's the problem. Like everyone says, you got to keep Houston off the glass. Yeah, you do have to keep Houston off the glass. But you can talk about it, you can show it in film, you can do everything you need to do, but it's going to take getting hit a couple times. It's almost like, spring training before they put the pads on, or they say, exhibition games, but then when you put the pads on for real.
Right.
I think that's the comparison, when you think about how do you simulate what Houston does in your practices. You can't. You can't simulate their strength. You can't simulate their length. You can't simulate their ability to continue to play hard and not take plays off and be connected. And you know what? and Kelvin Sampson, in a lot of ways, he probably can't simulate Malawach,
Right.
and he can't simulate the lob. Although they're going to put, I guarantee the first time they try to throw a lob off penetration to Malawach, there's going to be, a forearm in his chest. is my gut feeling. I mean,
Right.
they're going to try to just jack him up. But I think it's a fascinating game. Older team, young coach, old coach. Style plays are actually pretty similar. Both are going to run on opportunity, off of steals maybe, but they're not going to run crazy. How are the smallish guards of Houston going to handle the size of the backcourt of Carolina? I think that's going to be the big thing. I mean, they're not being guarded by 6'6" and 6'2" guards now.
Right.
I mean, they're being guarded by big guards that, Proctor's playing his best basketball of the year.
Yeah.
I went back and watched the game last year, the Duke game. Obviously, when Shed was in the game, Houston was doing fine. But I hate to tell everyone this, but this Duke team's a whole lot better than last year's.
They are. And so this is my question for you, Seth Greenberg. I have many questions for you, of course. But it's easy to say, well, Cooper Flagg's the best player, is going to be the first player in the draft. But what makes this Duke team not unstoppable offensively, but what makes their offense so good beyond having a player like Cooper Flagg who you can run everything through?
Yeah, it's that who don't you guard? Let me ask you that. Like, if you can decide what to give, what to take away, I mean, like in the ACC tournament, they didn't guard Malik Brown. He banged 2 threes, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, he did.
Or the Carolina Duke game, one of those.
Yeah,
games.
it was the Carolina Duke game in Chapel Hill, right?
Yeah, in Chapel Hill, and he bangs 2 huge, humongous threes. There's so many different guys that can beat you. And I think that Canales, the last few games, has just been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Tyrese Proctor, phenomenal. And not only has Tyrese been great, his poise and his leadership and his decision-making and his shot selection, all the things that at times have been a little suspect, man, he had a home run on every one of those things.
Yeah, Duke's got so many ways to beat you. Like, they won the ACC tournament, and granted, I know that the ACC was down, way down this year, and I'm not implying too much importance to it, other than they won the conference tournament without Cooper Flagg. So, I think one of the things that makes their offense so good is that they don't have to run it through Cooper. They can run it through Knipple. They can run it through Malik Brown if he's on the court. They can run it through Sion James in the corner. They can run it through almost everybody. But it's
easier when you're running through Cooper.
Oh, yes. It is.
He's a 10-eye guy, man. I call him a 10-eye guy. When he has the ball, all 10 eyes are on.
He is. Not that you compare him in terms of play style to a player, but somebody who has got the whole package. Who comes to mind when from your career in coaching and in broadcasting?
Look, he's got a little Scottie Pippen in him. He's got a little Grant Hill in him. He's got a little Jason Tatum in him. Those are the guys that he reminds me most of because of his ability to initiate, their offense and defend multiple positions and his versatility. I mean, his versatility is the thing that kind of jumps at me, and I think those are the guys that he kind of jumps at. I'm not saying he's like any one of them, but he's a little bit like all of them. That makes sense.
Yeah, Jason Tatum was his guy as a kid growing up. He loved Jason Tatum's game. I was in Brooklyn watching the ACC tournament when Jason Tatum just absolutely put on a 4-day basketball clinic. That was one of the great things I had ever seen. Seth Greenberg is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. If Houston beats Duke, and they absolutely could, why do you think they do?
They're like the games that Duke struggled a little bit. Like think about the in the ACC tournament. You think about when Carolina made their run,
Right.
or the game I think at Carolina in the second half when Carolina made their run. What they do? They got into them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
They pressed them a little bit. They pushed them out a little bit. They disrupted their rhythm a little bit. They made them tentative a little bit. Well, here's the big question that comes. Can, and I'm not saying they will, but can Houston do that with their physicality, with their toughness, with their aggressiveness? If they can, you know what? And push them out and maybe get the ball stuck. Like even in the game the other day when John was trying to run some clock off, like I actually thought he got a little too passive, and I'm not coaching his teams, not with him every day,
right?
Where they got pushed out a little bit. Now they were just running clock and trying to make sure they won the game, but I thought they were better off attacking, not to score maybe, but to flatten the defense. And then when you bring it back out, when everyone's got to close out, now those entry passes are easier. The play that kind of resonates with me on that was the time that Flag threw it to Knipple, and it went right through his legs.
Right. Okay.
They were initiating their offense like 30 feet from the basket.
Right.
Can Houston do that to them? And I think about, the ACC tournament. Think about the game at Carolina. Can Houston push them out? That's I guess that's the big question. Can Houston blitz the ball screens? Now, if I was on Shire, I would surely spend a bunch of time watching that Purdue game and how they rescreened all those ball screens. So when they stepped out and tried to monster or blitz it, they turned and flipped it and rescreened, and now all of a sudden that big couldn't get back on the other side, and now all of a sudden you could kind of get a little penetration, move the defense, and make a play. I thought that Matt Painter's game plan for that was phenomenal.
Seth Greenberg is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Real quick in the other game, who do you like between Auburn and Florida?
Yeah, you know what? That is that is a crazy game because I rewatched that game the other day too, and Auburn couldn't be any worse. Shot selection, awful.
Right.
Awful. I mean, like ball security, awful. They got some offensive rebounds, but they didn't need defensive rebounds. Condon really bothered Janai Broome with his leg. Now, I don't know how healthy Condon is because he didn't look totally healthy the other day.
Right.
So but I can't imagine Auburn playing worse. I mean, they were awful. I mean, got us to a great start. After that, they didn't play well.
Right.
So, I mean, I got to believe Bruce is going to make adjustments. It really all comes down to, and it sounds sillier than silly. To me, it comes down to Chad Baker-Mazar.
Yeah.
If he's right, they're right. I mean, it really is that simple. If he's right, they're right. If he's wrong and he crosses the line and doesn't straddle the line, when he straddles that line, man, he's good. And, that goes, and then shot selection's got to be good.
Yeah, I just want to watch Walter Clayton Jr. play. I just want to watch
the last 5 minutes of the game.
He is unbelievable. I mean, I think we'll be in agreement here. Texas Tech had it and let it go. You missed the front end of the 1-and-1 twice. You opened the door, and then Florida bashed it down. Maybe Florida comes back to win anyway. Before I let you go, Seth Greenberg, who are we going to be watching Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, my gut feeling is I'm not officially doing this. I'm going to stay with Duke in Florida. That's what I picked all year long. So I guess I'll stick with them.
All right, I like that because that's what my bracket has too. Even though my bracket is already otherwise shot. Seth Greenberg.
My bracket was great till Tennessee and Michigan State. I was 99.9% on.
Really?
Yeah.
I also had Michigan State.
Say that like you're surprised. Wait a second. You bring me on as a quote-unquote expert, and you say that like it's a surprise. You're killing me.
You know what? I apologize to you. You're a grandfather of four. I apologize to you.
Five.
I'm sure.
Jackie G had her fifth. Had our fifth.
My gosh.
I was in Raleigh the other day. Jackie G had the baby. I was in Raleigh yesterday.
I know.
The day before.
I know you were. Next time you're here, you have to. You were busy. Next time you're here, though, we have to get you in studio so you can sit down and hang out for a while.
You got it. You can buy lunch.
All right, I'll do that.
Some deal.
We have good.
I know you have some deal. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind you have a deal.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
You got it. Seth Greenberg here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, so here's the thing. We don't have a deal. We don't. But I'll arrange something. We can do, like, I can order. Right? I can order something, have it delivered, and pretend that we have a deal.
Yeah.
Because we're small time. So we don't have a deal. We need a deal.
We do need a deal.
Why isn't the show catered every day?
Oh, that would be nice. Just throw it out there. Maybe it'll stick.
It's exactly what I need is daily catering. All right, we'll come back. We'll talk about the Hurricanes. A couple of significant things that happened yesterday. Some good, some not so good. Next.
From the heels.
Touchdown, Carolina.
To the Canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book and the very best place to bet on sports because we have a loaded sports calendar coming up. We're less than a week away from that tournament in Georgia, the NCAA tournament. And we've got Major League Baseball in full swing. So whether you're into any of these sports or others, Dinger Tuesdays, Hump Day parlays, golf profit boost tokens are there galore for you. So, new customers, $5 bet gets you $200 in bonus bets. FanDuel.com/AGS. Make every moment more. FanDuel.com/AGS. Have a good time. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
This April, join North Carolina Realtors in celebrating Fair Housing Month. Fair housing means everyone deserves a place to call home, regardless of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, or disability. NC Realtors are committed to fair housing for all North Carolinians and ensuring that everyone has access to safe and affordable housing. Let's work together to create communities where everyone can thrive. Visit ncrealtors.org to learn more about fair housing. Paid for by NC Realtors.
It's okay not to be okay. Feelings of loneliness, anger, and worry are completely normal, and you're not alone. If you need help coping, call, text, or chat the free 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Someone is always there to talk, day or night. Together, we will find the care that works for you. Just call, text, or chat 988 anytime to talk to a trained counselor who will listen, provide support, and connect you to other resources that can help. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Going to college gives you more career options. You could say it pays for itself, but it might not feel that way in the short term, especially when tuitions do. That's where the FAFSA comes in. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. It's your gateway to money for college. Whether you're seeking scholarships, grants, work-study programs, or loans, it all starts with the FAFSA. So how about it? Make a plan for college and find everything you need for the FAFSA at cfnc.org.
For 70 years, PBS North Carolina has been a part of your life, teaching, inspiring, and entertaining you. From learning French cooking with Julia to uncovering history with Henry Louis Gates Jr., we've shared countless memories. Together, we've celebrated every moment, and it's all thanks to you, the people of North Carolina. Your support has made it possible for us to keep bringing you the best programming on TV and beyond. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does it make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. Might seem like a magic carpet ride for the Hurricanes over the last 7 years, because they have made the playoffs now for 7 consecutive seasons. And I don't want that to ever be lost on people.
Yeah.
So, 2 things about it. One, oh man, what's the big deal? You make the playoffs all the time. They do. What do you do in the postseason? Because that's what you're judged. Yeah, I'm not arguing that. And right now, Carolina is somewhere in between. There are 3 other franchises that have made the playoffs now for 7 consecutive years, or who are about to at least make it for 7 consecutive years, because Boston's run is coming to an end. Boston is last in the East right now. No joke. Boston's behind Buffalo. Yeah.
Let that sink in.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
I saw that yesterday. I went, excuse you?
Yeah. Wow.
So, it's not as easy as all of that to make the playoffs. Edmonton doesn't have a run this long. Vegas doesn't have a run this long. The Rangers don't have a run this long. The Hurricanes do. So 2 things about the run. One, they have won at least a round of the playoffs every year they've been in it. The one asterisk I would put on it is they won their qualifying playoff series in the bubble, swept the Rangers in 3, and then lost to the Bruins in what would have been the first round of the playoffs. It was the conference quarterfinals, and they would have lost to the Bruins in that. So we're being in some ways intellectually dishonest when we say they've won a round every year. But that's the only year they didn't win a round. But on top of that, that was the second year of this run. First year they got in, they were wild card 1, went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Next year, the season abruptly ended when COVID shut us all down. That'll never happen again. And we went to the bubble, and Carolina beat the Rangers and lost to the Bruins in 5. But every year since then, not only have the Hurricanes gotten in, but the Hurricanes have gotten in as one of the best teams in terms of what you accomplished during the regular season. They were the 3rd, 2nd, the 3rd, and right now, as we sit, they are the 5th best team in the NHL. So they have graduated with honors every year of the playoffs. So let's not be those people who take that for granted, because it doesn't take very much to not make the playoffs. Last year, the Devils didn't make the playoffs, right?
Right.
But I thought they were great.
I know.
Injuries, whatnot, didn't make the playoffs. This year, it's very possible the Rangers won't make the playoffs.
Oh, so sad.
Wait a second. But I thought it was easy to... Everybody makes... See, it doesn't happen that way.
It's not the NFC South in football.
Where somebody has to.
Yeah.
So, It shouldn't be lost on Hurricanes fans that this is so easy that a caveman could do it. Now Carolina, going into the playoffs, and it is official, they'll ultimately end up, the magic number is 3 to guarantee no worse than a second-place finish in the Metro. So if the Hurricanes win tomorrow, I think the Devils play tonight. Or so, either way, any combination of 3 points, Hurricanes gaining 3 points, Devils dropping, so if they lose in an overtime, the Devils would have dropped a point. Any combination of 3 points, Carolina clinches home ice advantage in the first round of the playoffs. And that's the next thing you can clinch. Washington is trying to clinch the Metropolitan Division. They haven't done that yet. I think their magic number is 8 to do that. So that's going to happen. As well as Carolina is going to play, Washington is going to get those points on their own. Just like Carolina doesn't need New Jersey's help to clinch home ice advantage for the first round of the playoffs. Carolina is more than capable of beating the Devils. They'll be a favorite in that series if it is the Devils, and I think it will be the Devils. And that's no guarantee. The Hurricanes could lose to the Devils. Devils have great players. It's not just Jack Hughes. And Dougie Hamilton, by the way, is supposed to be back before the playoffs even start. So they'll get Hamilton back. So they've got a very good blue line with some outstanding players that play, that are defensively oriented, Brett Pesce, offensively oriented, Dougie Hamilton and Luke Hughes. Hughes has been great for them. They have good goaltending. They don't have Jack Hughes, but that team is way good enough to beat Carolina in a series. So nobody should assume that is a done deal. I'm not assuming it. I like Carolina's chances, but I don't think that'll be, Canes in 5. I think that's going to be a long series. Carolina's got to be prepared for that, and I know they will be. But whoever is in the other series in the Metro side, Washington versus whomever, Rangers, Blue Jackets, Canadiens, I think it'll be one of those 3. The Hurricanes can beat anybody on that, in that series too. If Carolina does what they're trying to do, they are more than capable of winning 2 rounds and getting to the conference finals. And then you take your swing likely against, to me, the 2 best teams in the East, the Lightning and the Panthers, in no particular order. You take your swing against them. And I think you've got, whatever chance you think you have, I think those teams will be favored. But Carolina's not going to be an overwhelming underdog. And we have spent a lot of time this year, gnashing teeth about, we're not this, we're not this, we're not this. Plenty good. Plenty good. There are some elements that they need, that they don't have, that they do have, but they're not getting. And one of those is Andrei Svechnikov, who left last night's game with an upper body injury.
Never heard that one.
Right. Hopefully he'll be back. And productive. Hasn't been a great productive season for Andrei this year. And I am not here to bury Svechnikov. To me, it's about he's good enough to have a huge impact on them winning. And if Andrei can come back and be the best version of Andrei, which, again, we haven't seen for any really sustained stretch at all this year, but if Andrei can come back and be a good player, be a productive player, it just helps Carolina go to another level. We were looking for, I called them in the beginning of the season, big bats in the middle of their lineup, looking at it like a baseball lineup. You need the middle of the order hitters to drive in a lot of runs, maybe hit home runs. Well, Sebastian Aho, check. Seth Jarvis, check. For a time, Martin Necas, check. He's not here anymore. We thought it would be Mikko Rantanen. That didn't happen either. He's gone. So, what Carolina is left with is the rest of their lineup needing to fill those voids. Andre was supposed to fill one of those roles. He needs to step up. Taylor Hall has been on fire lately. Taylor Hall isn't one of those people, but he is playing that role right now. Taylor Hall has not been a point-a-game guy for 6 or 7 years now. So I think it would be silly to think that he should be that. But he can certainly be a contributor to making up the deficit. Andre needs to come back and be a productive player. And then Carolina needs, whether it's Hall or, I'm not looking for that from Jankowski. It's been fun.
It is fun.
It has been fun.
Maybe Jackson Blake is just warming up into it.
But that's Jackson Blake actually over the last 8 games is a point per game. So Blake is developing into something like that. So when they get to the postseason, can Aho, Jarvis, Blake, Hall, Svechnikov, can those guys help be enough offensively to get you through from round 1 to round 2? Means the power play's got to be good. Power play lately has been productive. Again, I don't know whether to call it good or not, but I'll say it's productive. And that's all it's got to be. But that's all it's got to be.
Right.
It just has to be productive. It doesn't matter how you score on the power play. Hurricanes have had plenty of great penalty kills that, in the end, gave up a goal. So sometimes how it looks doesn't matter. It's what was the result. That's what matters. So over the last 5 games, the Hurricanes have 7 power play goals. It looks better, but the real thing is it's been productive. And the last part of this is, and this is the most tenuous part, will the goaltending hold up?
Yeah.
Freddie has been awesome. Freddie is probably not going to be a 94% save goaltender for the balance of the season. So there will be a reversion to the mean. And if Freddie just becomes normal Freddie, which is fine, can Carolina still win at the rate they need to win? Can they still be productive offensively to cover for the odd 3-goal game? Freddie hasn't had a 3-goal game in his last 8. 2 goals or fewer in each of his last 8. And can Kochetkov be good enough to be a complement to that? That's what we're talking about. Victoria, thank you. Missed you at the game last night. You're getting your hair did. See everybody tomorrow.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel. They are America's #1 sports book. They are the best place to enhance your love of sports through friendly wagering.